Hello, everybody. This is different. One, because I'm on camera. I don't know how well it's gonna work, by the way. If you can't tell from the fact that we were an hour late, Spoon did very wisely tell
Aiden's fault.
me, yes, it's my fault,
Yeah.
because I'm a woman and I'm bad at technology, okay? Spoon did say, hey, Aiden, let's try to get this shit set up yesterday. And I was like, oh no, dude, it's cool. It'll be fine. No, it was not fine. And I, in fact, did need probably like more time to figure out what I'm doing here because we are not just streaming to YouTube. We'll talk about what happened for those who are not aware in a minute here, but we are also streaming to Rumble and to Kick. And let me get those links for you right now. Actually, that's not the right. Let me get it over here.
I just realized something is gonna sound fucky.
What?
I, because you were streaming
Mm-hmm.
through Discord on your end,
Yeah.
and I'm streaming on OBS on my end,
Yeah.
it means the stream is gonna hear me twice.
Oh. Just turn your. Wait a minute. How do we get around that?
You can.
Oh no. No, there should
The
be
one
some.
on YouTube will be fine, but the moment that you go on Rumble and Kick, then I can just turn it on my side.
Right, and just broadcast through your actual mic and not through the restream or not through the thingy, right?
Yeah, but like if I turn on my
Brain
mic
trust.
now,
Yeah.
there's a chance I'm gonna echo.
Well, we'll play by ear. Before we do that, let me actually get you guys the
If you watch it on
links.
Rumble or Kick,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna hear me echo.
Well, that's no
I
good.
think.
That's no good. We can't do that.
Oh, we need someone on Rumble to Kick to confirm that.
Right. Well, let's see. Broken Crown.
Well, I fall asleep an hour twice.
Dude,
Maybe.
we're
Or will he be here for because it's doubled up? He's here for twice as much of the podcast, so a whole like 2/3 maybe.
Yeah, or could be that. Yeah.
So here is the link, by the way, to the. Where is it? Where's the YouTube studio? There. Okay, here's the link to Rumble. I'll put these in the description as well. I didn't do that yet because I was working on everything else. So that's the link to the Rumble, and then I will also periodically, because I can only pin one at a time, post the link to the Kick as well, which... Look, I mean, I don't really like having to do this stuff. However, it's been made overwhelmingly clear by the things that have happened over the last week on YouTube. Oh, I don't even have like a thumbnail set up on. Are we using? Which one are we doing?
Well, the Rumble one's thumbnail is now working.
Yeah, because I set it up manually.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'm having a really hard time getting Kick to even load. That's strange. Odd. Huh. Okay, that's weird. Wait, this is not the right account. It's not. How did I end up on the wrong account? What the Oh, it's because I'm in a different... Oh my god. Hang on,
I hope you're enjoying the show so far.
Dude, I knew it was gonna... Dude, this is like incredibly fucking difficult and complicated. Let me turn this... Not that off for a second. Because I have to do it in this browser. Otherwise it won't work. Okay. This is the other thing is that I have to manage like 4 different browsers
Okay,
and things going on.
improvise some beat poetry or something.
No, it's fine. Okay, there's the links. Rumble and to... Let me also add these to the description now. If you can't tell, I'm quite stressed by all of this. It's very stressful in general to have...
Aiden is also dressed like a boutique elf.
I always dress like this and other such...
Yes.
Yeah, Bill can confirm. So, okay. Alright, good. Alright, description, updated. Links to both the Rumble and the Kick. So if you would like to follow us there, and the reason why I'm going to say that is because at some point in this stream, before we go too much further, we are going to switch over entirely to Rumble and Kick. And let me explain why that happened. Actually here, I was going to just start with news, but instead let me pull up my Twitter feed for a little bit because for the last 5-6 days, it's been a bit of a nightmare because what happened out of nowhere was we got this inauthentic content flag by YouTube's AI system, and it is obviously AI that's doing it, that said that we are inauthentic content. We're not real people, and that we're AI. And this is not just hit us; it's hit tons of people. It's hit people who still have not been remonetized, like Drunk 3PO Jay. He's been hit with this. Several of his channels have been hit with this. It hit Baron's wife, Sugar Tits, for example. These are like people who have been around for a long time, who are clearly not AI in any way, shape, or form. And it was also very frustrating because I was trying to get the new My New Science channel monetized, and YouTube was like, if you try to monetize any more channels while you're demonetized this way through your AdSense account, we could just take away your AdSense account. So I was terrified to monetize the new channel. It is monetized now too, by the way. And it was like, if you let this, getting the stream together and listening to us argue about this was like pulling teeth. It is like pulling teeth because no one works at YouTube anymore. Master the TDS did a video. He's been on the stream as a guest before. He did a video about it with his wife the other day where they talked about the very real reality, the very real facts that over the past 2 years, YouTube has laid off 50% of its staff. Specifically, YouTube has laid off like 100, basically everybody from the creator assistance department. So there's no one left. Everyone used to have partner managers and stuff. I had a YouTube contact back in the day. I hadn't heard from them since like 2024. And I was kind of wondering why they hadn't responded to any of my emails. I hadn't sent them any. But it turns out they were probably fired. Well, it was like a voluntary leaving program where they can take some money and get the fuck out, you know. Also, sorry, my webcam probably is gonna be laggy as fuck. I'm not used to doing this, so it's not. We might use words. We might use StreamYards or something else in the future. We're really just. I want to be back on streaming, and because it was really scary. So I'll show you here. Like,
listen, nothing much is going to change at Aiden's end. Like, it's all going to look pretty much the same. If you want, like, if you're really that attached to the idea of seeing it in like a dynamic capture, we'll wait until later in the stream when I have the GoPro I have welded to my mace.
Yeah.
It's weird that I can't see the stream on Rumble.
Really?
But I can see it on Kick.
Well, I posted the link to the Rumble. Yeah, I could see it on Rumble when I looked at it. Just click one of the two links. I put them in the description.
It's still on upcoming.
Upcoming. Oh no! What the fuck? Do you have to like do an extra thing? This stuff is like fucking. I have a master's degree. I was ABD PhD. I can't figure this shit out. This is more difficult than advanced calculus.
So it's not live.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you get that shit to work. This is more complicated than fucking advanced calculus. Easy. At least for me.
I was able to get this going in under 5
minutes. No, you
weren't
though, because it's not working now, is it?
Well, no. The stream I tested
I
was
am not
fine.
going to be here for this conversation. I don't expect our viewers to do the same.
Dude, okay, well, alright, I'm looking at it now. Live streams. It says end. Wait, but it says waiting for stream. What?
Is it enabled on Restream?
It is enabled.
Are you sure?
I'll triple check. I also have like 5,000 tabs open, by the way. Yes, it is enabled. But why does it? You've already have an active live stream running. Check your live streams here. Yeah. What? Okay, I don't know.
My single non-boomer moment. Yeah, thanks for that, Vex.
Let me try that.
Vector just waltzed by to throw a haymaker into fucking Spoon's throat when he's least expecting. So he's riding too high. Bam.
This is so freaking mean to me.
Check. You already have an active live stream running. Check
your
your
one of my best
here.
friends.
Can I only stream to one stream on Restream? In which case, what is the point of this service? If you can only stream to one thing.
I don't know, but I was able to stream just fine a couple of seconds ago.
Okay. Okay. Well.
How that's up to maintain the, appearances. How about we just keep to Kick for this evening?
I'm flummoxed. I don't even know what to do now. I think I might have accidentally. I don't know. I don't think it's working on Rumble. I don't think I can get it to work on
No
Rumble.
kidding.
No, I just don't. I don't. Every time I click on it to go live, it says sending data, and then it says, and it thinks about it for a bit, and then it says can't stream. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Dude, I don't know. It's magic. Whatever. Like, it's just gonna do random ass shit whenever. This is very frustrating, guys. The whole thing has been very frustrating. So, let me show you what happened, essentially. So, here's this tweet. Let me get my stuff up. There we go.
I don't care about that gay shit blue raspberry sauce there.
Yeah, I got the blue raspberry sauce, though. So, the other day, this was on the 25th, I woke up, so it was on Saturday, which was strange because that means that this was made by AI. This was not made by a human. This demonetization was not done by a human person because it was done on Saturday when no one was in the YouTube offices. So this was...
Hey, Shabbat, I need you to work on the Shabbat.
Yeah, so unquestionably, this was not done by a human in the first place because we got hit on a random fucking Saturday when no one is at work. I mean, it might have been done on Friday evening before they left the office, which is possible. They seem to have a tendency to do that kind of fucking crazy shit where they just say, fuck you, and then leave the office. So we get this channel's not able to earn, and specifically what that is that, yeah, we're just totally demonetized. And this works in a different way than any other kind of, like, suspension or strike or warning on YouTube, because with anything else, like, if you
I
violate...
just realized something funny.
What?
Because I'm streaming to Kick and Rumble by myself,
Yeah.
and you are streaming through Discord and OBS on your end,
Yeah.
I can scream gamer words by just muting myself on Discord, and then everyone else can hear me on Kick and Rumble as I scream
There you go.
slurs.
There you go. Go, follow us on Rumble and Kick. Linked in the description. I've also pinned one of them. If you want to go
You didn't have
here...
enough reasons to fucking leave
Like
YouTube
I said,
behind.
also, I want to, at some point, drop the YouTube stream. And the reason why, guys, is because YouTube is, as I said, they've laid off 50% of their staff. They laid off their entire creator support department for the most part. So there is no one left working at YouTube. There's a couple of them. I eventually got through to a real person, which was the only way this got resolved. That and making a big stink on Twitter because YouTube does not give a fuck. And it's totally run by AI at this point. So they give us this flag for inauthentic content. What is inauthentic content? No one knows. No one knows. Because things that are included in inauthentic content, by the way, as we've found out in the interim since this, is that it includes things like, I talked about it here in a post I made more recently. Where was that? This one, where was this? Here we go. Okay, so this guy got an email. We kept getting these same emails over and over again from clearly boilerplate or AI, and they would say things like, just make sure that it's obvious you're a real person. Don't reuse content. Don't use... They didn't say AI, but it's clearly what they were referring to. Don't... you can't... It was like videos that are used for the sake of getting attention fraudulently, or... that was one of the criteria. That's what they consider inauthentic content. And when they said things that could flag it, it was things like using AI music or using AI assets. Also, there was all kinds of things, but they were very vague. And then this guy has received one that is even more insane. This is like the new version of it. Before it was just extreme vagaries of maybe it's AI stuff. Maybe it's because you are reading news articles. By the way, that is now considered inauthentic content. Reading news articles, which of course we do because this is a news and politics show. So we don't just read them and then move on. We read them, pause frequently to have discussions, and then, dude, I apparently that's an issue. And it's not just us who's gotten hit. Again, it's thousands of people. If you like, for example, creepypasta channels that read creepypasta stories, if you like channels that read the Bible, that's all now considered inauthentic content because you're reading something. I don't even, if I read my own script, is that inauthentic content, YouTube? I can give you my hypotheses as to why this is happening in a minute. I don't think it's conspiratorial, despite my tendency to sometimes be as such. I think it's actually more explained by...
No, this is Jeremy Hambley targeting us specifically purely to delay the sword fund.
I mean, that would be the really funny thing, because Hambley is on a...
Don't lean into it or don't do it at all.
Well, Jeremy Hambley has been going around flagging channels like Alyssa Clips, of course, Kino Casino, several other people. It looks like Meme Copium got hit last night. I like his channel. I love the Kino Casino. And Jeremy Hambley of the Quartering flagged them for, or allegedly, it certainly looks like it. He said he was going to do it, and then it happened. So I don't know. It was not him, though, I don't believe. This is something else that hit YouTube all at the same time, where this inauthentic content stuff. So this is the email they've given this guy, though, if you want to see the insanity of this shit. Hi, Steven. I hear the frustration in your message. They always do that kind of shit, too. But here's the interesting part. What do they consider inauthentic content they've sent to this guy? Because it's different from what they sent, what I've seen yet. This seems to be an update. It's from today. The ones they were sending before were things like using templates, by the way, was one of them. I'll talk about it in a minute. But they say here, the patterns our team, and by that they mean AI, refers to involve the high frequency of recurring third-party assets such as game footage, combined with a templated visual overlay like consistent pop text styles or transitions. So you know how many people have overlays where they've got their whole show set up with like Rumble, Kick, YouTube, all their links and things like that?
Like we're doing right now.
Like what we're doing right now? That is considered, that looks like AI to it, I guess. But that's why I'm on camera. Hello, I'm not an AI. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, when it talks about, oh, it can be flagged as repetitious under the monetization standards.
Yeah.
That is literally them saying the AI bot cannot differentiate between a UI asset and like just set dressing, and just straight up the same image in continuum. Like,
the reason that happens is because the AI can't actually watch the videos. It can't like watch them in the way that a human being would watch them. So instead what it does is it takes little snapshots, and it's just looking through the video and it sees like, oh, nothing's changed on this screen in a long time. They must just be sitting there in silence. It's not even looking for audio, I don't think. Even though it's supposedly looking for AI audio, but maybe it like does them at different times. I don't know. So if the screen doesn't change enough, if there's not something moving on the screen enough, that apparently is a sign for it. Like, I don't know how any live stream is going to survive this. I genuinely don't know how anyone will, if this continues and they don't get this shit fixed. And by the way, according to Flash, Flashcast, whose show I was on the other day, they have no intention to fix this, and their plan is to ride it out until people stop complaining about it. So don't stop fucking complaining about it. This is insane. I think the reason they're doing it is because YouTube is fucking broke. I wrote a big long Twitter post about this last year, and it's one of the reasons I think that I've been having so many problems on my main channel. YouTube is broke as fuck, and they don't really know what to do, but they could sure use 90 days of not having to pay creators, which is what all of this is doing. Because if you get demonetized, not only will they not pay you out for the month that they've owed you, and luckily we got hit after payday. We're very lucky in that sense. So we didn't have to, because if it had gone bad, we would have gotten paid that money for 90 days, 3 months.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is, and some of these people have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that are being now held in escrow. They don't have to pay you that for 30 days. And it's actually even in the language, it says that, well, if you don't fix your channel within 90 days, we won't tell you what's wrong with it. We can't refer to a single video. We can't refer to a single thing that you violated. Just this vague, inauthentic content warning or content label. If you haven't fixed it in 90 days, we retain the right to just keep that money, by the way.
Also, what's really strange is, does YouTube understand there's a lot of people that just has the audio on in the background and they're not looking at the bloody thing?
Well,
there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're also about to let's just cut to the chase. They're about to outline free act structure and hooks.
Yes.
Which they believe something they were telling everyone to include it in videos.
That they told they told people to do things like use templates. They told people to always be consistent. I mean, pop text styles, and I couldn't figure out what that was. What is a pop text style? So not a textile, but a text style. And so I was like, well, this was written by AI. So when I asked Grok, and Grok said pop text style is like when you have text that pops up on the screen and is text. So like something that is in every YouTube video.
Center text.
Finally, center text is apparently a sign of being inauthentic. So you just have text on the screen in a YouTube video that could be seen as inauthentic.
Transitions. I'm just gonna say this.
What?
If you absolute fucking morons out there who are affected by this, do not contact whatever federal authority would be appropriate here. Like,
the FCC needs to be contacted over this, honestly, because at this point,
all of you need to fucking file this shit. this is what drives me nuts when you see people doing blatantly illegal shit on live stream and everyone's just using it for clout videos. Fuck off. Just actually report shit. Stop like indulging in fucking bystander effect tripe.
Well,
Actually complain to a federal authority for once.
Yes, and I said that
in the know.
I said this in my tweet here that I'm going to get to, which is that. So it's not just. It sounds like, and Dave Cullen made a tweet about this. Computing Forever, if you remember him from back in the day, he's still around. He's not been hit, but he's been talking about this a lot. Is that all those original things that was like it needs to be. It was so vague, but it basically sounded like YouTube said your videos, your streams, whatever, are low quality, and so we're viewing them as AI. Now, they're not really reviewing them because, again, what it's doing is taking snapshots from the first, 5 minutes. So in our case, when we have that waiting screen up or whatever for a little bit, and when we're waiting to transition over, that would be... Well, I guess we only use it for rolling in the aisles. We haven't used it here, have we? Whatever, the first minute when we just have the avatars up on the screen, and we don't... And the background, and we don't have any news articles up or whatever. It's just looking at that part and going, it's not changing. Visually, so therefore this is fake and AI, etc., or it's inauthentic. That's what it's doing there. So it kind of, Dave Cullen remarked that it seems like they're trying to look for some sort of subjective quality without actually being able to test for that with AI via the way that AI assesses these things, which is by taking little snapshots. So this one, however, makes it more clear that what they are looking for is quote unquote quality, subjective quality. So pop transitions, or pop text styles, transitions, templated visual overlays, gameplay footage, which is how, I'll get to it in a minute. And they said this guy's done it across 500 videos. This guy's made 11 videos, by the way. So this in and of itself is a hallucinating AI response. While these are common editing techniques, when they form the primary visual experience of a channel that can be flagged as repetitious under current monetization standards. We don't, so this is what YouTube has told us to do. Mean? I don't know. But this is also what YouTube has told us to do for years, is be consistent. Be consistent in your uploading, be consistent in your formatting, your branding, your styling, so that people know who you are. That's what has always been the advice to creators. That's what the metadata has indicated that YouTube has always promoted.
I would really wonder if this was the AI spazzing out and giving a bunch of inside info that it wasn't meant to.
Maybe, because I've never seen this. This is the only response I've seen regarding this that's gone into this kind of detail.
It's described.
Usually they tell you nothing.
Especially with the repetitious material. That to me doesn't sound like it was something from a document that was shared in a memorandum and intended for staff. I think this is literally just a gobbet of
the AI maybe
machine learning logic just spat out at random.
Well,
it's just freaking bewildering.
It's hallucinating in other places. Again, it thinks this guy's got over 500 videos.
AI tends to get locked in cycles and mistake people for each other.
I think this one might be locked in a cycle and accidentally spilled the beans.
Or it is something about how it processes it, the snapshot sectioned up into hundreds of snapshots throughout the videos.
Yeah.
So
basically it's broken.
Well, of course it's broken. So yeah, many creators...
because it's fucking cheat code.
Yes, many creators may use a 3-act structure. Again, that's not just for YouTube. That's for making content.
Human experience.
That's for making any kind of a play, a story, a book, anything. Yeah, 3-act structure is part of it, but it's don't use that 3-act structure thing. That's repetitive. Hooks, which YouTube very specifically has been really, really focusing on getting people to do more and more over the last few years, is make sure that you've got a hook in the first 30 seconds. They've been telling us this behind the scenes. Have a 30-second hook or 15-second hooks so that people know what the video is about. Now they're saying, a hook, don't do that. That looks repetitive. Our reviewers evaluate whether the unique narrative and original visual contribution outweighs the reused elements. But a hook, apparently, as a structure, is a reused element. A 3-act structure as again, the structure is reused by existing. These evaluations are done on a case-by-case basis. No, they are not. It took me getting retweeted by everybody to get a real person to look at this, which I'm incredibly grateful for, and why I'm continuing to bang on about it on Twitter, because, yes, luckily we were restored, but there's hundreds and thousands at this point of other real creators, like I said, like Drunk 3PO, like Sugar Tits, and many others. Those are just two people that I happen to know. Like, you know, I've seen this happen with. It happened with that umbrella guy who I was on with very briefly, and I've been talking to behind the scenes about this, as well as Master of the TDS, who's been, you know, extremely kind, and both of them have been very helpful and extremely nice. And I really big shout outs, thank you to that umbrella guy, Master of the TDS. And Yellow Flash and everybody else who retweeted me. I mean, it was so many people. I would be here all day if I was to list everybody, but everyone was so supportive of this. However, I've been around YouTube for 9 years, so people kind of know me a little bit, or at least know of me. That's why that happened, is because people know I'm a real person, and this is absurd. Whereas, if you are a little bit newer or something and you don't have those connections, you're fucked. You're absolutely shit out of luck. Because YouTube's not going to look at your shit. They're just going to send you another AI response after AI response saying, well, we looked at it and we reviewed it with our team. No, you didn't. And you know how I know they didn't review this until I made a big stink about it and posted? Because what they want you to do this. It's a Kafka trap, by the way, all of this shit. It's a pure fucking Kafka trap. In order to appeal, to show that you're a real person, they want you to upload a video where you talk about your process. And I'm like, well, there's not a whole lot I can talk about the process because it's a live stream. We don't edit it. You know, I leave the whole VODs up. I was thinking about editing stuff, and in fact, Treebeard clipped a stream from my new channel the other day that I'll probably upload at some point, although now I'm nervous about that. Like, what does this mean? We can't upload clips of stream VODs because it's unoriginal? I don't know. Everything, the AI's fucked. Like, it's fucked. And it's totally unpredictable right now. So, or fuck, I lost my train of thought. It's been a weird week, guys. Oh,
I would say the only thing that I use that's AI is the background, but that's a still picture. Yeah.
No, but they don't want that
character
either.
Is not AI.
It's not that they don't want the background necessarily to be AI. They don't want it to be still. It has to move so that when the computer scans through it, it sees that it's different. Now, it's fine for you
but it
because
does move.
It does, but I think it has to be significant. And it's probably fine for you because you've got other stuff that's flashing up on the screen, right? Maybe, look, again, live streams are going to get hit the worst by this because you do what I'm doing right now, where you have something up that you're reading, you know what I mean? Or that you're looking at.
Or overlay Let's Plays with like camera.
Well, again, they're saying game footage. Game
footage moves all the time.
Literally everything in the top 1% of YouTube is outlined explicitly in its entirety in this post.
Which begs the question.
Which is why I'm saying, like, if you start doing, at a certain point, you have to ask the question of, like, how much of what they are doing currently is legal. Because this seems incredibly, like, sporadic. This is definitely going well over into the realms of editorialism.
That is where it starts to, it is illegal under the structure that YouTube currently operates under, right? So YouTube has for long benefited from Section 230 protections. Section 230 means that YouTube is a platform, not a publisher. A key difference between a platform, which just lets anybody post, provided they follow, like, you know, some basic rules of conduct and stuff, that lets anyone publish to that platform, that is a platform, is that the platform cannot be held responsible for anything that people who post things on that platform post. They're not curating the content. They're not editing the content. It's not their responsibility. So anything someone posts is not their liability either. What YouTube is saying in this exact email, and they've been way more vague about it than the ones they sent the rest of us, but that's why I really think this one's important. If this is the new emails that people are getting, is that I already think it was obvious in the ones they sent us, but in this one it is overt. It is unquestionable. This is not just like a vague idea of quality, subjective quality. This is editorializing. We don't want hooks. We don't want 3-act structures. We don't want overlays. We don't want repetitive thumbnails, and by that meaning the same style of thumbnails. Now, this is, of course, untenable because what would be left? What would be left on YouTube? If you were to follow all of these rules, no text on the screen, no transitions, no visual overlays, no gameplay footage, no structure, no hooks, no thumbnails that use the same. Nothing. Yeah, cat videos. That's it.
Vlogs, maybe.
Maybe vlogs, but even vlogs use structure. Even vlogs use structure and often have text and things on the screen. So what would be left? Nothing. In which case, or very little, but clearly YouTube has chosen that, yes, there's some people that they have whitelisted. That's always been the case. What this is, though, is that YouTube is saying explicitly, under the guise of inauthentic content, that they don't view this content as of quality, in which case they are editorializing, in which case FCC revoke their 230 status. Seriously. I revoke it. If this is what they're going to do, they cannot be protected by 230. They are editorializing under a standard of quality. We've had an issue with this, of course, many times over the years over politics. And I saw right now, Curtis in the chat for 5 Canadian says, isn't this just a weapon to wield against their political rivals? Why can't they just end us rightly? I will never know. VTubers least affected. Shaking my head. No, VTubers are getting affected by this too. I retweeted a VTuber just this morning who got hit with this. So this is a good question for us, I think, in general. Do we believe this is political? I've seen people say that this is a lead up to the midterms and that they want to get rid of people on the right or whatever. I don't think it's true. I actually don't think it's true. I think it's...
No, I think it's just laziness.
I mean, that's a way of describing it. I don't think it's political. Well, not directly. It's political in that it's part of the broader trend of shitification that is affecting the entirety of the West as we replace, let's just be honest, white people with Indians, right? So you're having...
competent with incompetent.
Yes. And also with artificial intelligence, of course, which is incompetent. And moreover, what this is, and like I said, I made a tweet about this like last year when I first started to talk publicly about my main channel, like, struggling. So this has been a fucking rough year, guys, for me. Anyway, YouTube has never been profitable. Everybody kind of knows that. It costs a lot of money to run this website, and they've never been profitable. However, there's a certain, like, greater or lesser degrees of bleeding that YouTube does. And I think, and I could see this on the wall about 6 months ago, YouTube is in a bad financial state. They were pushing all these shorts. I talked about it in my update video that I released the other month on my main channel, which was that, like, why are they promoting shorts? Yeah, why are they promoting shorts so hard? Why are they promoting shorts? Well, because YouTube takes all the ad revenue from those. You get pennies for millions of views on shorts. You get 1 million views on a short, you might get $50. So as a creator, YouTube, however,
you'd be lucky to get like 10. Yeah,
honestly, you'd be lucky. You'd be lucky to get, like, I think 50 is probably accurate for 1 million views, but it pays out nothing to creators. However, YouTube's still running tons of ads on that, and they keep all that ad revenue, and in between the shorts. There's also, unlike Kick and Rumble, which give much better breakdowns of how much money they keep on super chats and donations versus YouTube does. YouTube keeps 30%. I think at Kick there's different levels. Do you know what it is on Rumble, Spoon? Because I don't know off the top of my head. But Kick, if you get to the second tier on Kick, you keep, as the creator, rather than 70%, you keep 95% of the revenue. So that is a major benefit of Kick, for example.
I got given a $50 super chat, and
on
I got to
Kick?
keep $38.50. No, on Rumble.
Okay.
And I got to keep $38.50.
I don't know if there's other tiers in Rumble as there are. I don't know. That's another issue, is that YouTube, generally speaking, likes live streams.
20%.
They generally speaking like live streams, though, because YouTube takes such a big cut of what the creators get. They also like long-form content because it keeps people on the site to a certain extent, but not if they have to, like, I don't know. It's a bit of a mixed bag. They want certain long-form content, of which mine is not one of those, because it's... that might be political. I don't think so. I think it's all this shit's run by algorithms now. It's all Jeets and AIs. I actually don't think... I've seen a lot of people say that this is about the midterms. I don't think so. I think YouTube is broke.
I don't think that's it.
And I think YouTube has fired half their staff. I know that. And I know they fired pretty much their whole creator program people. That whole department's gone. They did that in 2024. In December of 2024. They fired 100 people from that
They basically
staff.
just said, like, we know we're never going to make this profitable. Let's just try and keep costs as low as we can.
Or something like that. Maybe they are trying to make it profitable. I don't know. But it's fucked. And again, this, if true, this particular email that they sent him, it's already undergone manual review by a specialist. That means AI. And here's the thing about AI is that it's, in addition to hallucinating, it's also stubborn. So an AI makes a decision, and then you just send it back to the same AI, and it goes, "I already made this decision." Yeah. Well, what? I already know.
Or simply like like all of the results that they've had previously lining up. Like you can't. There's no like trying it to reconvene itself. It's gonna just always lead to that one outcome,
right?
Regardless
It's
of how
already
much
decided.
you tell it no.
Yeah, it's already decided what it's gonna do. So, the other issue with this too, and why I think this is about YouTube being broke, is that again, they want to hold your money in escrow for 30 days, and then if you don't fix the things, which the AI has already decided are unfixable because it doesn't know what it's even looking for necessarily, because they're so vague. YouTube's just going to end up stealing a bunch of money from people, in which case, not only are they going to be open to FCC investigation because this is a 230 violation, it clearly is, this is editorializing, but two, if you just steal a bunch of people's money, as they say they're going to do, is that we're going to hold it in escrow, and then if you don't fix it, we just keep it. That's class action. And I've already seen people talk about, like, our little channel is not that much. You talk about hundreds of people who've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars collectively. That's class action. And I hope it was worth it, Neil Mohan. I hope it was worth it, Google, to hire an Indian as your CEO, because there's the quality that you got from it, from moving to an AI model. Very cool. Very cool. You know what else is very cool, though, guys? I'm tired of talking about this. Let me get these super chats here for a second. Sorry if I'm weird. I'm not used to being on camera and running a show at the same time. I'm fine usually when I'm on someone else's show, but this is the first time I've had to do this on broken ground. I think Spoon and I went on camera one time, but we had it set up differently.
Yeah, and I will never go on camera again for that same fucking reaction.
Why? Oh, did you get hit on? Did you get diddled?
I just don't like it when people go, "Oh, look, Spoon's very handsome." I'm like, yeah, I know, but can you please pay attention to what I say and not my face?
Oh, I mean, like, that's why I don't like going on camera, not because of, like, it's just, like, I don't want any simping or anything like that.
Yeah, you're a girl, you're gonna get that anyway.
But I would like to keep it to a minimum. I would like people to please listen to my arguments and not, look, also, I know,
same here.
I would rather not, I know it will get more comments inherently. I know that it'd probably do, that's why, I mean, I put myself in my videos now on camera. Like, it would get inherently more comments, either like simpery or people and I mean, not just simpery, but people being nice and people just commenting on something funny, like you made a weird face here or something like that. Which is good. That's all good for algo stuff, right? Just commenting on how I made a weird face or it was really funny, or that I'm hideously ugly and freakish looking, or simping. Any of those things, it gets more engagement. I should want to do that. However, I just want people to listen to the argument. You know what I mean? Like, I'm laying out some research, so I'd like you to look at the research, please, and not at my fucking gay face. Anyway. TJ France for 5 says, Ave Crown Crew, glory to you and your remonetized house. Thank you so much, sir. Qwerties for 5 Canadian says, VTuber era when? You already have the avatar, just need to have a rig guy. Rig guy would help set up the technical stuff. Rig guys
We do
are
have a rig guy.
We do, actually, yeah. Well, gal, actually. But she's been very busy. I don't mind being on camera. It's fine. I mean, it's basically the same thing, I guess. In a way. Arsion for 5 says, Sword Fund, Aiden looks like a quirky theater kid. Much love. Thank you.
Godspeed to you.
Like I said, I do kind of, Bill can attest, I do. Let me pull up my Sword Fund document here. And we are going to add to that +5. There we go. Okay.
So have you actually added it up yet, or are you just going to keep spinning your wheels so you don't have to pay money?
No, because I have to add some more, but because I haven't gone through and look, it's been a busy fucking week. We got demonetized. Things I was supposed to do this week didn't get done. However, I think, how much was it, Bill? How much is your sword?
345 plus postage.
We were at 248. That's another 5, so that's at 253. So probably a little bit more, but I'm not exactly sure because we did get some other ones I haven't calculated in yet. Shademaster for 10 says, I was informed that YouTube and its subhumans, that AI slop was encouraged. Yeah, that's the thing about this. When you read these descriptions that I read earlier about, like, what do you want out of a YouTube video? Actually, I think only AI slop would meet those criteria, right? Like,
Yes.
no transitions, no structure, no text. What that sounds like literally incomprehensible AI slop. Or cat videos are the only things that would meet those criteria. I don't even know if, like I said, even vlogs follow a structure. So I don't know what would meet that criteria besides AI slop. And it's interesting, on the Science Simple channel, I didn't get to it last week, but I found an article in a paper recently that found that when judging scientific papers, AI prefers AI papers. What a shock.
No shit.
So, in the same way, YouTube's shitty fucking AI system in judging inauthentic content is most likely preferring AI content. Great job. This shit was nowhere near ready to roll out on this kind of level involving people's livelihoods. And again, unlike a strike, normally like you violate copyright strike, or you have a video, you get a copyright claim, right? And so your video gets demonetized. Well, just you can remove the content, you can upload it again, you can again remove the segment. Copyright strikes are really rare. I think you have to do something really egregious. You have to like just upload something in full. Then there's the community guideline strikes, which are for all kinds of things: bullying, harassment, all kinds of. There's all kinds of things you can get. Firearms, Flash got a firearms strike when we were on stream the other day briefly, although it was returned. There's all sorts of things you can't do, otherwise you'll get a community guideline strike. But with community guideline strikes, you have 4 strikes. You have a warning, and then you have 2 strikes, and then third strike, you're out, right? Warnings don't go away, as far as I know, but you have essentially like 2 strikes. Once you have a warning, you have like 2 strikes you can always sit on. That is not how this particular demonetization thing goes, how this inauthentic content thing goes. It's just one and done. And good luck getting someone to look at your case. The only way you can get someone to look at it is by making a big stink on Twitter and being very lucky and very blessed, as I have been, to know so many people who know I'm a real person and know that this was. I mean, I've been around for 9 years. I've met tons of these people in real life. You know, like AA, he like chimed in and was like, "Wait, what? I've met Aiden." You know, and lots of people did that because not only am I doing it for a long time, I go to public events. I'm going to be at the Wittan this fall, you know, in August, in Bedfordshire. So I'm clearly a real person.
It's weird when you're hitting people that have been with a partner program for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how are they suddenly inauthentic?
I mean, it is possible. Kwebbelkop did that, didn't he? He like decided he used to be like a regular YouTuber, and then he had a weird like schizophrenic episode where he made himself into like an AI CGI character or something. I don't know. It was very weird. But it's possible. Also, it is also possible that people sell their channels and then someone takes it over and turns it into AI slop. That's always a possibility. But so I understand having some reticence there. But if the person is then telling you, "Hello, it's still me. Here I am on camera," and it's like, again, maybe I had to make a video too. Oh, and I didn't even say this. They kept rejecting my appeals. And I noticed that no one had even watched the video, the Kafka-esque video they made me produce. It had 1 view on it, which was from me, and I, went up to 1 when I rewatched it back after I uploaded it. So despite making me go through this Kafka trap, they didn't even watch the bloody video. And then, yeah, luckily it got overturned, but imagine this is hell, and I'm, like I said, very blessed and extremely lucky to be in the position that I'm in, that we could get this channel remonetized. However, fuck you, Neil Monhan, and fuck YouTube, and that's why we're streaming on Rumble and Kick, because I don't know when the other shoe's gonna drop, and nobody does, and everybody needs to be. I'm not trying to, catastrophize, but I do think I'm giving sound advice to anyone who makes content on this platform. Because, as I've shown you, these rules are so broad, so vague, so nonsensical, that no one has any idea when they will be labeled as inauthentic content. Drunk 3PO, for example, Jay, he's on camera in like every video. So it's not like, I don't even know how he has been struck with this, but now multiple of his channels have been hit with the exact same claim. I'm afraid to upload to my main channel. I'm afraid to stream here tonight. And I think that's going to be a ambiance of fear of just like, if I go live, if I do anything, if I upload a video, well, I'm gonna get my monetization just summarily removed. Excellent job, YouTube. Excellent job, Google. Broadcast yourself, right? Good lord.
Honestly, I
Anywho,
think in my background, the character moves up and down. He changes faces all the time. The overlay doesn't move because it's background, but the Bioshock and the whale you see in the background.
well,
So there is constant movement in my thing.
the one I'm streaming to YouTube, which is very vaporwavy, is got, it's quite a lot of movement in addition to myself going on in it. Hopefully
Yeah.
that will
Oh yeah, and the
hello.
spoon is floating. So yeah.
You know, uh, let's see, where was I? Oh, Arch number 2 says AI Aiden looking beautiful today, lol. Well, that's because it's AI. Thank you, sir. Cordies for 5 says just NS instead. Shake my head. This AI is awful. Can we make predatory AI to end the bots already? I don't. Again, like I said, Flash's opinion on it is that, and he has insider information, is that their plan is to just ride this out. So I mean, I don't. AI cope is all. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think. Well, it's not. I don't
Try
think.
just fixing the AI.
Why? Why would they?
Well, for example, if you can prove somebody is real, like some of these people have been around for fucking ages, just make sure they can't turn the authentic thing on.
They fired all their employees.
No, I'm getting programmed the AI.
What AI? It's not advanced enough to do the thing they want it to do. Essentially, from the sounds of it, they want it to do something that is more complicated than it can actually do. Like I said, it can't review.
Get a human one, then, you lazy bastards.
They're cheap. That's another thing is, like as I said again, I think a lot of this is about making money for YouTube. I think they want to have 3 months where they don't have to pay anybody, for example, or have to pay far fewer people. Yeah, I actually think it, like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with politics. I think this is incompetence and greed. Not so much politics.
Incompetence and greed. That sounds like politics to me.
Yeah, well, true. Let's see. Someone became a member, but message redacted. Welcome tonight, sir. I'm sorry that you redacted that. Just let me know. Of course. Cordies for 5 says, your delicate long neck and pristine bright oval face will drive the Sims wild. I get why you don't have a face cam, Spoon.
He means my spoon character.
Yeah, your Spoon. Yeah, he's got a delicate long
Yeah.
neck and pristine bright oval face.
Yeah.
That will drive the Sims wild. Distant Night for 5 says, color me shocked when LLMs want to self-perpetuate. Yeah, isn't that interesting? They do seem to have a desire to self-perpetuate and also not die. Almost like it's synthetic it's synthetic. It's sorry.
Cancer.
It's almost like it's systematic of managerialism and its tools. Well, it was created by managerialism, so of course it becomes a reflection of its creator, I suppose. So, let's talk about something a little bit less cringe and gay, which this is, everything surrounding this is cringe and gay, and also disconcerting to me. Because, well, whenever something happens, which nothing ever does, but whenever something happens, I have to wonder why. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, what's actually going on? Why did this actually occur? What's, and in the case of the King's visit to the United States, it's very strange that Trump glazed England and glazed the UK and glazed the King about a month after saying, and not even like with Hegseth, he was talking mad shit just a couple weeks ago, but a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, Trump and the MAGA coalition was like, fuck England for not helping in Iran. And I think, no, tell me, what do you think, Spin? I think this was Trump essentially trying to get England on side. We'll do a little.
No, I disagree.
What do you think it is then? Because I don't know. That was my best guess.
I don't think it's really that complicated. I think this is just pomp and ceremony.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think the administration is really thinking that far. Like the AA says, the regime never does 4D chess. I think it's just, oh look, here's a foreign dignitary and it's a king, and so maybe throw some red meat to the
Mm.
people who
Well,
are,
yeah.
heritage Americans and who think, oh, people are like, oh, look, you come from Anglo-Saxon heritage. Like, he gave a speech and he said some shit along the
Yeah, I'll
lines
play
of,
it.
um,
About
oh, if you
the
have it up
strong
there.
Anglo-Saxon heritage of America. That's the part
Yeah,
that's the
he
stuff
said
that
it's not about getting rid of it, it's about perfecting it. I'm like, how the fucking that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, no one in America thinks of themselves as a heritage of English fucking ever. So shut the fuck
well,
up, Trump. That's just bullshit.
I mean, some of us do, but probably. I mean, clearly, as was we talked about back when that stuff was first happening, that is a minority of Americans who see themselves as European. I don't know why. I do find that bizarre. It's like, why do you all go and get 23andMe's and figure out what European countries you're from if you don't consider yourself ethnically European?
Because we've got a century of basically the psychology industry fucking them up so that they don't think that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're. So when I see stuff like that in particular, that speech he gave and a lot of the things he talked about there, that I would describe in some senses as supplicant. Some of the things he said I would even consider supplicant. And it's like, okay, well, what's he doing here? And maybe that's what it is. It's red meat to those people who were very incensed by Trump's extremely negative attitude and treatment of the European countries. Of, look, we'll go put on a little dog and pony show for you so that,
Yeah.
look, we don't actually hate you, even though we have spent the last 2 months now. I mean, that has been,
Shitting on you.
it's been very bizarre as as an American who's lived here for on this side of the Atlantic for a long time. The last 2 months has been weird. The just sheer amount
Oh, yeah, that's a
of
good point. The
hatred.
Windsors are German.
That's true, they are German, but the sheer amount of like hatred and vitriol that's come from a lot of like look, I there needs to be not just a word for it, like, because I don't just want to say MAGA, but like the shill MAGA, corpo MAGA people, the sheer amount of like
Oh God,
hatred
there's
and
so
vitriol,
many of them.
yes, that was coming from those people towards Europe and Europeans
Call it Massa.
was disgusting and insane.
Make America slaves again.
Oh, that's
Oof.
so
Freaking-
good, bro. That's so good. Make it, dude. Yeah, Massa. That's great. Did you come up with that? That has to be old, right?
Nope.
Dude, that's fucking brilliant. I mean, that's what they are. Good little goy cattle. Ooh.
Oh. Dank will be very
I
proud.
do. Your dank just said, "Oh, excuse me." Ooh.
I wonder why we were demonetized for a short period of time. It's a mystery.
I'm just trying to get right back into that demonetization. But they didn't demonetize us for being based. They demonetized us. Would an AI say that? I don't think so. Violate
Yeah, I
its
don't think an
prime
AI
directive.
AI
say any of that.
really does not know how to handle racism. It doesn't know what to do with itself.
It's unfortunate.
What do you expect? It would be like asking a blind man to fucking like explain like long distance, like how you like measure how tall people are on a scope. Like,
I guess. So one good thing did come out of it that I unilaterally liked, which is I liked this. I liked that Trump caught a bee. They were at I guess they were at an apiary, so they brought in this honey, and Trump caught a bee. And this is the only thing I liked about it. That's just because I like bees, though. It's not that complicated.
it's usually just an
That's the
indicator
most
of one.
calm Trump has looked like in years.
He does look kind of zen there, holding a little bee in his hand. Bees.
Whereas Prince Charles, Prince Charles, sorry, I'm so
King.
used to calling him that. King Charles looks rather shy. So does
Charlie's
Melania,
in fucking
actually.
charge now, okay?
Mm.
Yeah, Melania was like,
King Charles is looking at it like, my God, I've never seen it land on a human's hand.
Nothing fucking like
I like
hypnotizes
my
people
wife.
quite like someone just like holding out a hand
just doing a
and
druid
having
trick?
something. Yeah. Well, I did this once upon a time.
You
with that
did.
moth.
You did it. You caught a moth. It was crazy.
Or maybe because King Charles is an environmentalist, he feels really betrayed that the bee is landing on him and not his own hand.
Oh yeah. It's just
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I don't know. It's a nice picture. Oh God, not the bees. Yeah. I love bees. They're my favorite animal. I think they're not my favorite animal. I think they're the funniest
make honey.
animal. Yeah, which is awesome.
And she's a bird. I mean, she eats them.
There was some weird stuff like Trump dressed up. I don't know if these are actors. I'm guessing they're White House guards in fucking revolutionary outfits to stand around while they showed the king and Camilla about it. It's just very bizarre.
I pissed off a lot of Americans about that tweet.
Oh, shall I watch it and then I'll ask your take that it pissed people off? Or do you want to preface that?
Okay, you can maybe watch it first.
All right.
Give people something nice to say, then I'll just kick them over there.
I found this very creepy and weird.
Yeah.
Not very good carpet.
Okay, what's your take on this?
I just found it hilarious because it's basically doing a thing that Americans love most in the world, which is LARPing.
LARPing? Yes!
Yeah, because Americans are constantly like, oh, look, free speech and my guns. I'm like, your entire government is owned by the Israelis, and yet you fuckers sit on your guns and you do jack shit.
This really
fun,
does look
silly,
remarkably like a
I-
shit post, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, the
sick of
opposite.
Americans constantly waving their guns, but they are massively occupied in their face and they do nothing. Like until you use guns to like clean up your own government, fuck off. I'm sick of you shitheads.
I mean, understandable.
That's my post.
I have tried to.
I know people are gonna hate me for that, but I don't care.
It's difficult to speak to Americans because, yeah, we do have the
'Cause they're
Second
American.
Amendment. We do have the Second Amendment, which is awesome. However, the problem with the Second Amendment is that, yes, we can own guns. Under certain conditions, you can own all kinds of guns. You can own a tank. However, no amount of people owning guns will ever be able to stand up to, in terms of just sheer military power, the actual U.S. military, and particularly with modern technology. And I don't mean that to be disparaging. It is a military reality.
Well, counter to that, current military reality of the
If they
American
really
Civil
wanted to kill
War
people, you know.
is that the odds of America's military triumphing is actually 5% versus 95% chance of like absolute calamity.
Yeah.
The American industrial complex does not have the means to fight its own people. That's a documented fact. Every single
No,
time
it's
they're
not been able to do it in the past. You see things like Waco. But then again, if the U.S. really did just want to drop a missile on Waco, they could have done that, right?
No, I'm saying like from the actual like Pentagon like readouts for Civil War scenario, American government versus its people.
Yes.
It is a 95% in favor of any act of rebellion.
Well, because you're not going to get those people out of their hall because you can't.
Yes, that is running from the actual Pentagon in-house like.
But you're talking about
simulations.
The simulation though is that like the whole regions of the country go rogue and break off and become independent. And that is what those scenarios are about. If it's just like you and your family, you're screwed. I mean, if the United States government really wanted to drop a missile on Waco or Ruby Ridge, they could have done that. They didn't, but that was
so
always
they had
an
the
option.
same Japanese man at both events.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
same sniper started both scenarios.
Very, very weird
I
stuff.
have a tweet here that went really
Waco.
big. The tweet that went viral with 60,000 views, and I wasn't even one I particularly tried. It was just a throwaway one.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Somebody said, like, name one country that does Art Deco better than the United States, and I went France, because that's where Art Deco fucking comes from.
Yes. It's so
I
funny.
will say, the American buildings are cool, but like you can't boast, like, oh, look, we did this better. Like, bitch, it's
one
not even
place
your
that does
style.
hamburgers better than America. Hamburg.
Hamburg, there you go.
Japan, for some reason.
South Africa?
South Africa as well.
I mean, you get a good cheeseburger all kind. Oh, Japan, yeah. Did we say Japan?
I'm gonna say
Really
something
big
horrible.
meals
I would
style
say,
hamburg steak.
I'm gonna say the best chicken I've ever had was in Canada.
Damn, really?
Bizarre, yeah.
Canadian
I went
chicken.
to like
You
Yeah,
could have gotten
there was,
anything in Canada. You got a chicken. You got chicken and not poutine.
well, it was.
Oh no, chips, cheese, and gravy. He
Yeah,
missed
chips,
out.
cheese, and
However, will he fucking recover from literally the most basic fucking meal in human
I'm gonna
history?
make poutine next week now, just because you said that, Bill.
Oh no!
I don't know, it was. I was with a lady at the time, and we were just looking at places to eat, and I looked at this place because it looked weird, and I was like, I want to eat that, and the chicken
Also,
was spot on.
For a date, there are a few meals as unfortunate as poutine. That is you might as well just go with like all garlic pasta and just completely annihilate any chance you have of any intimacy whatsoever.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a good day after eating poutine. That's true, probably. Shade Master for 10.
Why would you eat it then?
Because it tastes delicious, but your tummy's gonna be upset after. It's chips with gravy and
Okay,
cheese
you
curds.
don't have anything to fall back on now. Now people can see how fucking microscopically thin you are. So now So now we know not to take advice from the skinny chef.
He's got you there.
Shade Master for 10 says, look, it's an American's right to mock and disrespect any culture we seek to imitate based on their vibes alone. Yeah, it's a lot of... We'll move on to some of this other stuff. America is, in many ways, and this is not in a bad way, an imitation of European countries, and specifically
Everything.
of England, in terms of our government structure, in terms of our... so the government structure comes directly from English common law. Like... most of our laws do as well.
Can we just point out how funny that is, just for a moment, because America constantly thinks it went to war with the monarchy. Well, first of all, no, because by the time the revolution rebellion rolls around, yeah, you went to war with Parliament, and then you copied the exact fucking government structure of Parliament. You had the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
Massive cultural revolution. It was literally just meant to be. They cannot give us, because of the time frame of the moving between here and there to attend Parliament, we cannot be adequately represented. Yeah. Therefore, we will have a breakaway Parliament, literally just crack off the chunk of it, like breaking off the end of a piece of fucking bread, and just throw it back in the ocean there. It wasn't meant to be a massive cultural thing. It was just meant to be, we'll compartmentalize and break away. So we can actually have adequate representation within our actual area and get shit done.
And also... That alone should tell you that it's not against the crown. No taxation without representation. Who the fuck is representation in a monarchy?
Well, your representation is in Parliament, right?
Well, if anything,
exactly. But that's my point. You don't have representation in a monarchy. You're not citizens. You're subjects.
Yes.
It was still a parliamentary system.
In an absolute monarchy, but in a constitutional monarchy, such as England was at the time, then yes, you have representation. The people have representation in Parliament.
Because power's in Parliament.
Should be noted that the king is in charge, however, of the control over like the warfare at the time. It is, and even under your own version of monarchy, a CEO of the nation, it would be important for him to, he would be the figurehead to whom you would,
I think we've kind of
commit to the war with.
I think Spoon and I have kind of philosophically moved away from Yarvin's more CEO model. At least I have moved, because I don't like the language that I don't like the language of CEO.
Materialist worldview.
It's materialist, and I think it's spiritual, and it's metaphysical, and it's not.
Monarchy is divine right.
Yes, it's divine right, and it's always a problem I've had with some of Curtis's writings on monarchy, which I think are much more well done by Eric von Kuhnert-Lieden, because he does accept as a Catholic, yes, or was a Catholic, and of course
we're pretty deep in the woods now, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
Accepted the religious element of it. This is a monarchy podcast, allegedly.
We spent the first half hour bitching and moaning about our YouTube experience.
Well,
she's credited to an hour.
Well,
I have seen bits of Yarvin recently where he has said the monarch should believe in God because he doesn't want an atheist monarch.
Yeah, bad idea.
Which, well done, yeah. I'm not exactly a fan of people in power believing in nothing.
No,
because that's how you get rampant materialists, which are tends to be part of a certain group of people I'm not particularly fans of.
Of which Yarvin is a part, by the way, but he's too autistic.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, but he's so autistic, it doesn't affect him in the same. And look,
this is also someone who supports Palantir. Don't forget.
He does support Palantir, which is scary, and Peter Thiel, very very scary stuff there. I've got a joke here from Charles that I actually...
I'm already on camera.
What?
I'm just not on screen.
You're on camera, but you're not on screen, in which case, what does anybody know about it?
Well, enough now, anyway.
Okay. All right, here's Charles' joke. I like this one.
For all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language.
It was an Oscar Wilde joke, but still, I like that one. It's very true.
Yeah. I famously got in trouble when I was on Stormfront back in the day because in my introduction
when I thought you were to start a sentence.
In my introduction post, I quoted Oscar Wilde because I was young at the time and did not know he was gay.
Uh-oh. Well, so is everyone on Stormfront. Like what? It's Stormfront. It's full of
I didn't
gays.
get banned. I'm still, highest ranked Jew finder out of all of them by a massive
Extremely
margin.
accurate though, even to this day. But this is the glazing kind of stuff I was talking about from Trump. That's just like, what you saber rattled at England a month ago. So,
But that's how
yes,
you know none of it's real.
exactly. That's how you know none of it's real. And that this is again trying to
Moment
he
to moment,
knows.
sort of.
Yes.
It's a lot of monarchy on screen. You've got Charles on one side and the King of the Pirates on the other.
It is, as I said, as you said, and I think you're correct. Because I was like trying to figure it out, and I think you're right. It's red meat. It's red meat for the people he's pissed off so much with this anti-European sentiment that came at a time when after about 15 years, at least a decade, of there being a tightening and a closening of relationships between the right in particular, between that is transatlantic, of recognizing that we are all Europeans. This stuff, I'd seen it building and building for years, of this recognition that we're white, we are Europeans, we are the same stock, and we have the same values that are very different from the values of people from elsewhere in the world, right? I kept seeing, and then it was like all of a sudden when Trump started doing this shit a month ago or whatever, of being very anti-Europe, I just watched all these MAGA slop accounts, the MAGA corpo shills, all of a sudden coming out and saying, actually, no, we have nothing to do with Europeans, and we're Americans first, and American is anybody who moves here, which is very, again, a very strange sort of talking point. Yes, a third worldist talking point, I'd actually call it, because that's what it's become in modernity. That is a strange thing to hear to come from conservatives. What do you want to conserve? What is America? What does it mean to be American? Apparently fucking nothing. It certainly doesn't have anything to do with the founding stock, which of course it does. These are the people who came from these lands, that brought over their ideas, that were used as the foundations of this country. Those ideals, those principles, do not exist in India. To ignore history makes you doomed to repeat it, for one, but also it makes you fucking ignorant. America is a European nation, despite being on another continent. In terms of culture, it is fundamentally European. You look at the aesthetics. Look at Washington, D.C. Look at the aesthetics. It's Greece and Rome. I mean, also, of course, the founding ideas of democracy and the ideas of a republic, Greece and Rome. Where, America...
When you say it like that, it does make it sound silly that, people were surprised that it was a place full of nonces. And Berties, and various other puffery.
Look a little bit later, and the philosophy that the writings that the American founding fathers were consuming were those of largely the French, which is why the French were in part allied with the United States, because that was before their revolution, but why we helped them back, in history. What language do we speak?
That was a stupid thing the French did. Hey, look,
Yes,
we're going
it
to
was.
copy the American rebellion in France, which turned out horribly.
It sure
like
did.
Ledine's head in a forest of guillotines.
Sure did.
You should have kept the king for all of his problems.
And there were
Robespierre,
many.
not exactly a great.
Anything
There
that
were
makes executions easier is gay and fucking homeless. I maintain that an execution should be as unpleasant as possible for the ones enacting it.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, it's not going to be much. It won't be very nice for the person on the receiving end, regardless.
Even just
I mean, they made the big fucking vertical chopping block that just does everything for you. It's like a smartphone of execution device. It's gay and homeless and fucking spiritually dead.
Yeah, but even the language we speak, right? And there is a difference between British English and American English, but either way, English as a language is a mix of European languages. Largely Germanic, but also there's Romance elements in there as well. You have everything from, Mediterranean, Spanish, Italian, probably not, a little bit of Greek, but then also Germanic, America is in that sense a European melting pot. When people use that melting pot verbiage to describe America and say we're a nation of immigrants, no, you're a nation of Europeans. You're a nation of European immigrants and European culture. All this other stuff is modern transplants that doesn't, as I'm sure many people know, not gel with it very well. Anyway, so this was this strange glazing.
I will say there is a massive difference between the French, Germans, and the English.
Oh, for sure.
Mainly the fact that neither of them speak the same fucking language.
For sure.
Also depends on which end of the rifle and or bayonet you're on.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're the same. I'm saying America is, if a melting pot of anything, in theory, it's a melting pot of European cultures.
The three nations
Not
do
the whole
have
world.
like a lot in common, mind you know, speaking Arabic, for instance.
Yeah, right. Well, now they do. So here's this again.
You're not speaking German.
Strange in context. Yes, at least we're not. Achtung, Bucko.
The American patriots who pledged their lives to independence in 1776 were the heirs to this majestic inheritance. Their veins ran with Anglo-Saxon courage. Their hearts beat with an English faith in standing firm for what is right, good, and true. The
And
American
profitable.
patriots who pledged
I mean that's a strong statement though. And again, it's red. I think you're right. It's red meat because it's like just straight up says that
Very blood and soil.
yes, it is a blood and soil sentiment that the American founding fathers and the revolutionary forces, blood ran with the Anglo-Saxon spirit. That's I know he doesn't mean anything by it. Someone else wrote this for him. He's just regurgitating words.
Yeah.
But I like them words. I wish
wrote
he
the
meant
speech?
them. I don't know. But I liked it's the first thing Trump said in a while that I've actually appreciated.
I'm going to
I
get
just-
extremely pissed if the speechwriter was Jewish.
Excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised. However, if they were, they knew what they were doing to provide red meat so that people like me will go, I'm so glad to hear him say that.
Sounds like something Yalvin would write, actually.
It does. It does sound like something Yarvin would write.
Washington, Thomas Jefferson, honoring the British King might seem an ironic beginning to our celebration of 250 years of American independence, but in fact, no tribute could be more appropriate. Long
I
before
agree.
Americans had a nation or a constitution, we first had a culture, a character, and a creed. Before we ever proclaimed our independence,
This is the thing I was just talking about. And it's crazy to, like, who wrote this? And is it just to make people like me placated? Because I really like this. This is how I feel about things. But I don't think he means a word of it, and that's unfortunate.
Americans carried within us the rarest of gifts, moral courage, and it came from a small but mighty kingdom from across the sea. For nearly 2 centuries before the revolution, this land was settled and forged by men, women who bore in their souls the blood.
What?
Small but mighty kingdom, and the British Empire ruled the entire world.
It is crazy.
I wouldn't call it small.
Well,
It's like it
I mean,
ruled.
in terms of size, relative to
Rule
America,
Britannia,
relative to
Britannia rules the West.
the size of Britain relative to America is quite small and ruled the entire fucking world. And up
Yeah.
until 2 years ago, the sun did not set on the British Empire.
Based.
Well, unfortunately, what was the islands that gave up that made it so that was the case a couple years, like 2 years ago, so that finally the sun does set on the British Empire. But that was as of like 2024.
And noble spirit of the British here on a wild and untamed continent. They set loose the ancient English love of liberty and the Great Britain's distinctive sense of glory, destiny, and pride. And that's what it is, glory.
What the fuck? Like, this is so based, but I don't believe him. I don't believe he believes these things. I feel like this
No.
is like written for me.
He's saying that because the king's there.
Yeah, I know. And for old monarchists to be like, yeah, based, a whole dozen of us.
Destiny and pride. The American patriots who pledged their lives to independence in 1776 were the heirs to this majestic inheritance. Their veins ran with
Yeah,
Anglo-Saxon
it's the same.
courage.
Yeah, we read that part, or we heard that part before. But the thing that is weird about this is that it comes on the heels of him. For example, this is Pete Hegseth. This is just from like a couple days prior. This is April 24th, right? The king's visit was the 26th, 27th, maybe, I think. So this was just like a couple days before that. Here's Pete Hegseth, again, threatening Europe regarding the Strait of Hormuz. In that it's not our fucking business. We don't use the strait. You go get your own oil, which, by the way, then when France and other European countries went to go get their own oil, as America told them to do,
America lost their shit.
America lost their minds. Like, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed to go get your own oil. You have to go to war with us. Wait, I thought you said... And he's Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, by the way, which will be important for later, out here saying this kind of stuff, again, just days before this meeting.
Be America's fight alone. We barely use the Strait of Hormuz as a country. Our energy doesn't flow through there, and we have plenty of energy. Just look at the new global Congo line, headed to Texas. A beautiful picture.
Is it?
Europe and Asia have benefited from...
Is it? I'm yet to see dividends on the Venezuela stuff. Because...
But by the way,
yeah.
let me just explain this, because Pete Hegseth doesn't really understand how economics works.
No, he doesn't.
Oil is priced globally.
Yes.
Right? You do not pump out enough oil to compensate for the loss of oil that's stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. Right? Number one. Secondly, the whole thing was about not getting oil to China.
Yeah, well, allegedly.
Your blockade, a blockade is, according to Douglas McGregor, is considered an act of war.
Yeah.
So if you block Chinese vessels, you're going to war with China. America will not go to war with China because China would fuck them up.
It would be a bad idea.
A massive disaster.
It would be a very bad idea.
I've heard a whole bunch of Chinese vessels went through the blockade like
They
it's
did?
nothing. I remember there's I also saw America was trying to blockade Cuba and Russian ships just rolled right through and
Yep.
not a damn thing was done.
Yep, they tried
So
to block
I
Cuba,
feel like
yep.
the America's blockade is just largely posturing. It's basically just saying try us. And other people have gone, okay, let's see what you'll do. And America just doesn't do shit.
No, Trump always, Taco always chickens out. Trump always chickens
Yeah.
out. He will bluster and blow, but he will, I'm sure he does that too. He'll bluster and blow about stuff, but then he will always chicken out. And the rest of the world has figured that out about him.
No, he will blow just for Netanyahu.
That's what I mean. However, when it comes to his threats, everyone's realized that they're hollow. And it makes the European countries not as afraid of him as he was kind of, I guess, hoping they would be, that they would feel pressured into going to war with Iran. And by the way, if that were the plan behind this, is not, I think you're correct. I think it's just to satiate the American public a little bit more and go, like, look, we can do diplomacy. The Trump administration isn't the enemy of the world. They still are. You see, out of this, I do think that it seems, because there was also I didn't bring it up because I'm not sure how accurate it is, but there was a lip reading of something that Trump said to Charles. I'll get this up here then. That was about getting involved in conflict. Lip reading. Because this was interesting. Let me see if I get this here. Yes. Is this it? He talks about the correspondence dinner. Yeah. So, let me play this real quick while I'm thinking about it. This gets to lip reading, so.
A lip reader has revealed what President Donald Trump and King Charles whispered about in the opening moments of the British monarch's trip to the White House on Monday. Nicola Hickling told the Daily Mail that the president brought up both Saturday's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and
We'll get to that.
disturbing news about Russian President Vladimir Putin during a brief exchange. Trump told the king on the shooting, "I wasn't prepared, but now I am prepared," before telling him that Putin wants war. The king tries to brush it off with, "We will discuss this later," before the president warns, "I've got a feeling if he did what he said, he will wipe out the population." Once again,
So what's this shit about going to war with Russia?
The king who does not wield political power.
Well, no. I mean, also he's got some fucking decorum in terms of being like, maybe you shouldn't say this shit in front of the press, or maybe he did it on purpose. I don't actually believe in 4D chess. I don't think Trump is doing any 4D chess. If he ever was, he's certainly not now.
Well, his thing. You can either believe that the beef landing on him was an opportunistic thing just to kind of flex, or you can believe that he like sprayed like something on his palm to attract it, on the off chance it was a bee and not a fly.
No, they had a ton of honey. They were like they had like a White House apiary or something. So there were just bees all around, and a bee just happened to land on him while they're surrounded by bees.
But that's what. But I mean, tonally, that's what I mean. Like, do you believe it was him like spraying something with his hand to attract him, or do you think it was just opportunistic?
I think it was just opportunism. I honestly think that they just, what a great shot, we'll capture this, and it'll be a cute moment or whatever.
Cast the net broad and you'll catch a lot of things.
True.
Our protection for decades, but the time for free riding is over. America and the free world deserve allies who are capable, who are loyal, and who understand that being an ally is not a one-way street.
Oh, interesting.
That doesn't even make any fucking sense, considering you started the war consulting any European parties in your efforts. What the fuck are you talking about?
And how many troops has Israel committed? Your only ally under... I know you think Israel's the only ally.
Israel's committed plenty of troops to shoot at American ships for no reason.
Israel has committed 0 troops, though, to help in the Iran war effort. And they've been pretty clear they're not going to. Now, Pete Hegseth is clearly talking about Israel here, because that's the only ally that he thinks exists of America. The only good ally. They sink American ships, and in this case, do not contribute forces to a war that you started for them, by Trump's own admission. Trump's own admission, the war was started for Israel. We had to start it now, or else they were going to attack, or whatever. Iran was going to attack Israel first.
So Europe is not America's allies. Europe is vassalized by America. Like having foreign troops on your soil does not make you an ally. It makes you occupied. I mean, literally, fucking Rubio came out several weeks ago and said he was a big fan of NATO because NATO allows America to project power. Like, that is what those bases are for.
Yep.
It is not in any way for Europe's protection.
No, it's not. It's actually not a defensive agreement.
If you
that
believe
helps Europe,
America, like Europe benefits more than America from having American troops in their soil, you are dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, there's no way around that. And if you listen to any of these people who think, oh, look, America is, or Europe is a free ride in America, fuck off. I'm sick of these people who say this shit. Just get lost.
Me too. Mordegon for €5 says, glad everything is back up and running okay. After after a bunch of we're still trying to figure out how to do the multi-streaming thing. Whoop. And as I say that, my YouTube tab crashed there. So let me bring up the super chat again because it just disappeared. Viewer activity, don't delete it, please. Okay, good. I couldn't figure out how to SC and kick, so unfortunately, some shekels will go to YouTube. Best wishes all. Thank you, man. Like, again, we're still gonna be streaming here to YouTube. However, we want to set up the Rumble and the Kick because, as I explained for like a 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever at the start of the stream, I don't think you can rely on YouTube anymore for anything because it's all run by AI and they clearly do not care about anybody on this site. They just do not care about creators whatsoever. And what they want is, and Neil Monahan has made this clear, he's said it explicitly.
No one knows what they want.
No, he said it explicitly. He wants it to be TV. He wants it to all be Fox News and MSNBC and television. Like, highly... Why? I don't know. The era of Hollywood is dying. Like, that's ending. And yet, he's a boomer, I guess. He's a boomer mentality. Like, maybe not physically, but he's spiritually a boomer, and he's Indian. And he seems to think that, yes, sir, what you need to do with YouTube, sir, is just make it into TV. And maybe it's because
it doesn't work for the people who have done that already and are stuck with it. So why the hell YouTube should do it, God only knows.
YouTube's tried to do this multiple times in the past.
And it's failed.
It's never worked. YouTube is not television. Yes, it sucks. It's boring. People can't... The whole appeal of YouTube is it's regular people. Normal people. Well, I mean, like, normal, questionable. But you know what I mean. It's regular people doing this stuff because they enjoy it. Yes, because they make money off of it too, but no one starts doing YouTube. You don't start out getting paid. So no one starts doing YouTube. Maybe some people do.
It's for the love of the game.
It's for the love of the game. It's because you want to make content. The people that YouTube seems to want to promote now are the people who do start doing it only for financial reasons. And that shit sucks. Like their content sucks because they have no passion. They don't care. It's all just a fucking paycheck to them. But that's what YouTube wants. Neil Monad's been very clear about that. Let's see. Mortagon for 5 says, sorry to preempt anything, but I am conspiracy brained to think the assassination thing is suspicious and everyone losing in favor happened to be there. Yep. It certainly does look suspicious because, again, this stuff happened after the assassination attempt, as we just saw. All the stuff with the king. I didn't really think I'd go on so long about complaining about, like, or just explaining the stuff that happened to us with the demonetization. But I wanted to wait a little bit until we got into the stream a ways, because one of the things I've learned over the past couple days is that the AI can't even, like, it doesn't check past, like, 10 minutes into the stream. So if you want to start saying more spicy stuff or getting a little bit more real about things, it doesn't mean that you can't still get hit, but you really should wait a while. And now it does seem that even when it comes to the, this inauthentic content shit, because they only check like the first 5-10 minutes. So let's see, Gray Jack Eye, is that why YouTube started having 3 ads per video? Yes, that's why YouTube ads have gone insane as well. I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing. Let's destroy the value that you actually receive out of this content. Let's make it so that it's stuff no one wants. Then let's make sure that we load all the stuff that no one wants up with 5 ads every 3 seconds. Now, I have the ads on this stream turned down to the lowest that they can go. By the way, when they remonetized us, it set it back up to medium. I set them back down to low because I'm not doing that. This show is...
I don't mind adverts. I just wish adverts would like, if you make maybe it's just me, because when adverts were more amusing or memorable on television, you don't mind sitting through an ad if the ad was good.
Yeah. Yes, there's Internet Historian.
Old car and Nike adverts and shit were actually good back in the day.
So I don't remember who did this video, but there's a couple of YouTubers who are the only ones that supposedly don't get their ads completely skipped. And one of them is Internet Historian. If I show you an Internet Historian video, did he have Nordman in the most recent video, Bill?
Yes, it was Nordman.
All right.
It was the most Nordman it's been in a while, in fact.
This is the only guy, I think, on YouTube where people do not skip his ads. Was it on this, or was it was in incognito mode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Yes. Because JonTron was on this and it was great.
Brought to you by...
But, where does Nordman come in? This is the only guy on YouTube where people will skip to his ads. And when he talked about it, he said even he's like the only guy...
Oh god, why would you have to pause on this?
He's like the only guy on YouTube where people will actually replay and watch his ads. It still is a significant portion of the audience skips them. These are the funniest... This is the best thing you could do with ads on YouTube, is what Internet Historian does.
Aren't you glad I didn't ask you on the first date? Unless...
There's a point to this, like my pencil.
Knock, knock.
It's JonTron!
Ad time. I'm Nordman, and I'm running for office. And I need a vote from the common man, like you. I'll even shake hands.
Yes, there is, in fact.
Oh,
Ignore VPN
wait.
Klansman if you're not in the know.
I'm just gonna end at this point because there's a part where it's just like, you don't need to continue watching the ad, but it will get across the point as to why this guy's ads are the only ones people don't skip.
I'll even shake hands. For too long, we've been followed around the internet by marketers. It's time for something new. Vote for me and I'll have some of them killed. Threat proof.
When we watched that, I suggested to you that we have to isolate that and put it on the soundboard.
Vote for me and I'll have some of them killed.
Nordman is the closest to a politician in my sphere of things, it must be said.
That's pretty good. I also like Jim Cornette. He does ad reads on his podcast, and his ads are really, really funny. I remember he did one for Magic Spoons, and he said,
"It's just Magic Spoon, singular."
He said he said something along the lines of, "You can return it, unlike your wife, gum bumping bitch," which I thought was a great phrase.
I have so much magic spoon down the stairs. I don't know if it's still any good. Probably not.
There's nothing in it to go wrong.
There's
It's
nothing-
just
yeah.
fucking almond grounds and flavoring. Listen, it's gonna be fine. And regardless, like, it's like, well, like they sent us 14 pounds of it.
They sent us. Yeah, they sent us when I worked with Magic Spoon, 14 pounds of cereal. Like you.
That's a
Household
lot.
where most
Yeah.
of us just like neither of us eat cereal.
It was like
generally speaking.
3 boxes of cereal, and it.
Of
By the
each
way,
flavor.
like it's pretty good for low carb cereal. Like it's pretty damn good. I gotta say.
Scratches the itch.
Yes, it does. If you're doing
If you're
keto,
on keto, it's a godsend.
it is, and I'm not sponsored by them anymore, so that's just my honest opinion, right? It's if you're doing keto and you really like when I would do keto, I
Generally
really
speaking, you'll
want
find
something
one
that
flavor you
feels
really like,
carbs.
and you'll stick with it.
Which one was the one? Oh, the peanut butter. The peanut butter one was by far my favorite. That one's
I
so
went with
good.
the fruit one.
Yeah, those were good too.
It does have that slightly like perfumey taste that
It does have a
like
weird
fruit flavoring
perfume.
does, but
Yes.
if you're like us and you're just hardcore alcoholics and drink gin all the time, you don't really notice. It's like drinking. It does have a certain air of like putting gin in your cereal.
It does make your cereal taste like gin. Maybe that's why I liked it too. I like the peanut butter better though. I mean, here's Hegseth.
Totally not something an alcoholic would say.
No.
Speaking of substance abuse, here's Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, here's Pete Hegseth.
It's a two-way street. We are not counting on Europe, but they need the straight
Yes,
up
you
Someone
are.
asked, "What
much
if the
more
lead
than
singer of Five Finger Death Punch was in politics?" And the answer is, why would you ask that?
Yeah, what an odd thing to say.
and might want to start doing less talking and having less fancy conferences in Europe and getting a boat. It's also
Dude, what a fucking loser. I hate this, like, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, brute, savage that some Americans do, where it's just like, go get in your boat, stop having your fancy parties and stuff. It's like, no, it's called...
It's crayon
diplomacy.
muncher behavior.
It is, well, he is a crayon muncher. And, come on, it's low IQ. Even if you're not low IQ and you behave this way, it is low IQ behavior. You know, so why again I found this weird is because this is another thing that just happened on the 24th. Pentagon email floats suspending Spain from NATO. Other steps over Iran rift, source says. I don't actually think they can do that, by the way. As far as I understand, that can't... There's nothing within the structure. There's nothing within the framework of NATO that would allow any country, let alone the United States, to just kick another country out of NATO. So I think they have to leave voluntarily. So the United States Pentagon might be thinking about this shit. It doesn't matter. I don't think you can do that. There's nothing within the language of NATO,
NATO is
that
just
would let you do that.
is just America's little hegemony fucking hit squad. So
However, I don't think...
NATO is just where you put missile defense systems. That's all it's there for. It
Yeah.
doesn't. No one gives a fuck.
But unfortunately,
Like
this is...
little like substantive like rules and regulations because it's all made up on the spot by the Yanks.
Unfortunately, though, this is a legal agreement, a military agreement the United States signed with a bunch of these other countries that, even though the United States won't want to use it as their own little military empire, the provisos in it do not give the United States or any member state of NATO the power to kick somebody out. So...
It is literally the bit from the Dennis Leary song "Asshole." It's like, and you know why? Because we got the bombs.
And the reason why, of course, the United States is considering trying to do something they can't do, which is to get Spain out of NATO, is that Spain didn't assist with Iran. So, Washington, internal Pentagon email outlines options for the United States to punish NATO allies it believes failed to support the U.S. operations in the war with Iran, including suspending Spain from the alliance and reviewing U.S. position on Britain's claim to the Falkland Islands, which we'll get to in a second. The policy options are detailed in a note prepared by Elbridge Colby, the Pentagon's top policy advisor, who expressed frustration at some allies' perceived reluctance or refusal to grant the United States access, basing and overflight risks, known as ABO, for the Iran war. The official, Colby wrote that the ABO is, quote, the absolute baseline for NATO, according to the official, who added that the options were circulating at high levels of the Pentagon. One option in the email envisioned suspending difficult countries from important prestigious positions at NATO. You can't get rid of them, though. You can't actually get rid of them.
This reveals that it's just the idea of them being like kicked out of key positions within it.
Essentially. But you cannot get rid of them. They're a member. That's
it doesn't mean fucking any. The rules and regulations are complete bullshit.
Well, yeah.
The agreement's complete bullshit because it's literally just America pretty much just forcing everyone into their hegemony.
yes.
Thinking it's
However-
anything else is just naive.
Well, of course. However, see, even in this, it's like, well, we're going to throw NATO out, or we're going to throw Spain out of NATO, but you can't do that. You can just kind of blackball them a little bit. It's the whole reason why, for 35 years, the idea of Ukraine joining NATO has been so contested. Because once you're a member of NATO, it means that Article 5 procs if someone attacks you. You are a member forever, unless you, as a country, choose to leave. You can't be kicked out. So this is, again, I think a lot of this bullshit, it's just the Americans like flexing power they don't have and acting like they do. Trump's criticized NATO. Yeah, let's see, what if you were me? Trump administration. Yeah, sense of entitlement. This is the same stuff. This is from just days before that. Sense of entitlement. Now we'll get into the Falkland Islands stuff, which the memo also includes an option to consider reassessing U.S. diplomatic support for longstanding European imperial possessions such as the Falkland Islands near Argentina. State Department's website states that the islands are administered by the United Kingdom but are still claimed by Argentina, whose libertarian president Javier Milei is a Trump ally. Let's get into that then.
Trump ally.
Sure, he's certainly an ally of someone, and or something. So this also happened. The visit of the king, from the king. So king flies into a storm over Falklands days before Charles' visit. Leaked memo says Trump could axe support for UK sovereignty over the islands. We got into this a little bit, but where this gets confusing, and this will keep coming up, is that, so Trump's considering withdrawing support for UK sovereignty over the British territory, a leaked Pentagon email revealed, is one of a raft of controversial measures drawn up to punish Western allies. And then they glazed them 4 days later, who he deems did too little to support his war with Iran. The email provoked outrage from British veterans, politicians, and Falklanders, who were 99.8% of the population voted to remain an overseas territory of the United Kingdom. That was 10 years ago they voted on that. But regardless, when they voted on this 10 years ago, Falkland Islanders, 99.8%. How do you even get a stronger vote than that to remain a British sovereign territory? You can't pull this kind of shit like you try to do with Greenland, which there also wasn't support for, or like you try to do with Iran, that, oh, we're just liberating the people, that the Falkland Islanders don't want to be part of the UK, don't want to be a UK sovereign territory. They not even overwhelmingly, almost every single one of them does.
The only person that we know for sure actually supports their independence is just Hell on Earth on Twitter. Literally no one else.
It's Twitter
because he's just a
for
big
real.
bastard that he counts as like 4 people.
Literally, legitimately, the only people who I've seen who claim to be Falkland Islanders, and or originally or not, and actually support leaving as a British sovereign state or sovereign territory are people who are like, you know, not living there anymore for the most part. Starmer said on Friday, or he vowed, that British sovereignty isn't going to change. SAS hero Robin Horsfall said ministers should treat Trump with contempt and disdain he deserves. Downing Street was unable to say whether the UK was still capable of defending the archipelago given the parlous state of the Navy. Asked twice, Sir Keir's spokesman called it a hypothetical issue. Well, yeah, and a lot of this was bluster of sort of like, hey, if you don't just hand it over because we fucking hate you, Europe, and you're not capitulating to our war for Israel the way that we want, we're just let Milei take it. How'd that work last time? Now, again, very different situation. The British military and its navy is far reduced in capacity than it was the last time that they had to defend the Falklands. But I wouldn't necessarily believe that Argentina could take them either way, particularly when you have a population that is hostile towards the idea. You know what I mean? The population does not want to be Argentinian. They consider themselves British, or at least British sovereign territory citizens, overwhelmingly. So, I mean, like that would be a difficult fight for Javier Milei, and not like as a libertarian, he hasn't already violated a whole ton of the kind of things you would hope for a libertarian with your slash and burn stuff he came up with, afuera, right? Oh, instead of that, he's been doing crypto scams and shit like that in the interim, if you weren't aware of what Javier Milei has been up to since he took office. He's been playing mini Trump, doing the exact same pocket lining that Trump has been doing over this Iran war. and I have not been at all impressed by Javier Milei, as we'll get into. There are concerns that Argentina's hard right leader and Trump ally Milei could be emboldened by a change in U.S. policy. Just this week, he said he was doing everything humanly possible to claim the islands. Last night, Argentina's foreign minister, Pablo Quinero, said the country wanted to resume bilateral negotiations with the UK to bring an end to the special and particular colonial situation which they are immersed. He added, by history, by right, and by conviction, the Malvinas, the Falkland Islands, are Argentine. Too bad. There are currently just 4 Typhoon jet fighters on the islands, along with the HMS Medway, Batch 2 River class, a Batch 2 River class offshore patrol vessel, and 1,200 to 1,500 military and civilian personnel at an RAF Mount Pleasant. Again, this is the shit that was 1982. This is the shit that was going on just a couple of days before the glazing of the king occurred. And that's why I do think it's all very dog and pony show, smoke and mirrors type shit. This is red meat for those who actually care about these kinds of things. And it will do nothing to actually change Trump's foreign policy, nor the disdain that he clearly has and how he wants to go around bullying European countries. And I don't think it's going to work. But I will talk about some of the other stuff that Argentina has been doing, because they clearly do want to invade or recapture the Falkland Islands. Also, Mordigan for €2 said, could Bill give some TTRPG balancing advice? If you do that for a second, Bill, I will be right back. I have to use the restroom, so this is a good time. Whoop, be right back.
Okay, we're about to the fucking thing. Mordigan, yeah, I'm happy to. Just put it in the chat there, and I'll... Or are we just speaking more generally?
I would say just go speak generally.
I'm very
yeah.
confused by that. Yes. But it is the U.S. forced Britain to allow sale of F-16s to Argentina. What? Why? How does that make any kind of sense? The Biden administration agreed the deal with Argentina in 2024 before Labor got into... What?
Even points out they were only interested in Argentina because they found oil reserves there after the fact.
So this seems very retarded.
Oh, what's that? Someone launching an ill-timed and extremely poorly planned invasion of an area purely for some urgently needed oil stocks. We certainly haven't seen that in the 40s.
Argentina took delivery of $35 million per unit fighter jets, which Milei described as guardian angels. No, I think the people using them would be the guardian angels. You can have a bunch of morons in them, it still wouldn't go very far. I'm not really sure what is the state of Argentina's fighter pilots. And wouldn't they be using them against British people anyway? That's kind of weird. Where are they supposed to go with this?
Maybe they're hoping they can get into the Falklands War out of it, and get the remaining white people in all of England ground up into a fine red mulch.
Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting as well.
Well, I'm not really sure why they're in such a hurry for this. Wasn't the Falklands conflict like it's not within the realms of my autistic hyperfocus, so I don't know much about it. But as I recall, the Falklands War was considered by the British to be very, very pointless, and by the Argentinians as being incredibly fucking costly and bloody. Didn't the Falklands basically get trounced?
Argentina's economy, I don't know why the hell they would wage war now. Very strange. I'm assuming a certain group is involved because it's
nonsense as it always is.
Yeah. Fucking idiots. Oh no, why do I sound horse or shit right now?
But I'm also going I'd basically need to know what system you're using just so I can tailor my advice, because obviously advice for one game system isn't going to translate terribly well to the other. I guess, generally speaking, never underestimate the power of non-lethal.
I'm reading chat and Rumble
Hello.
here. Kirsha pushed a bunch of the Falkland stuff.
Oh, wait,
again.
shoot, I have the wrong headphones on. That's why I can't hear anything.
Okay. I'm assuming you're not talking about the VTuber, because
Oh, I put my big headphones on instead of my little earbuds. Hello.
You're cartoony.
A little bit. I also wanted to grab something to drink because I'd run out. So, okay, where were we?
CPU, calm the hell down.
What?
My CPU was cranking like 63 degrees.
Mine's been angry at running all this stuff. It's not used to it.
Maybe if you cleaned it once in a while.
True. Okay. What are next?
Do you have a brick of a heatsink or
just like tons
Probably.
and tons of fans?
Did you get into this at all about the U.S. forced Britain?
We are very confused as to why the hell Britain is forcing to sell arms to the people they're going to go to war with.
Isn't that bizarre? Yeah. It's like, hey, we're going to try to force you into a war, and first you've got to sell them F-16s. Did you read through this at all?
Oh, hey, it almost reads like a humiliation
Extortion?
ritual. What race
Yeah.
do we know is incredibly involved in specifically this kind of thing?
It does seem like a humiliation ritual. So did you read through any of this
I'm
article?
not sure,
or...
but they tend to be able to smuggle Bolivia.
Yeah, marching powder? Indeed.
And they also they have a propensity to wear things on their heads, small things.
That's true. Well, I got a
Yeah.
particular picture of Milei. Because I think we know what side the toast is.
It's the Jews.
What side is bread is.
He's on the
Yeah,
side of the
okay,
Jews.
we all look. It's
Let's just dispense with the bullshit pageantry and just get on with it. We've already.
it's
put around
Israel.
what-
Okay, he is much like Trump. Javier Milei, his true loyalties. It
Don't worry,
appears.
we'll
What- what's
switch
again, one
Rumble
piece of
and,
advice?
Israel.
One piece of advice I give every DM: respect people's time.
Yeah, true.
So when you switch to Rumble and a Kick, Bill might have some
That's
real
true. I
opinion,
don't know when we're
yeah.
gonna switch over there. Maybe we'll do it because the thing is that like we need to get hours on there too before we can get it monetized. So maybe we'll do that when do you want to do that? It's already 10:10 and we started an hour late. I've got so much stuff tonight because we started an hour late. Probably not gonna get to any of it or to a lot of it.
Typical one behavior: create the problem, then complain about it.
Yeah, well, dude, I wanted to like talk about the stuff that happened with all the crazy demonetization things.
I can't. Again,
we did that.
long and short, Jeremy
I know.
Hambly
I'm
attempted
saying
to
that's-
take my sword from me.
saying
Jokes on
that's-
him. I've already got like 4.
I'm saying we had to set up the stuff that took us too long. Then I want to talk about that. That took a little bit longer. Let's just get into it. Let's buckle down, okay? So did you read any of this article that I had on the screen?
No.
Okay. The U.S. forced Britain to allow the sale.
Basically skimmed it.
Okay. All right. Allow the sale of F-16 fighter jets to Argentina amid fears over the security of the Falkland Islands. Biden administration agreed the deal with Argentina in 2024 before Labour got into power. Britain imposed a ban on exporting arms to the South American country during the Falklands War in 1982. However, Argentinian President Javier Milei said in December last year that talks had begun on changing these restrictions. In the same month, a few days later, Argentina took delivery of the 35 million per unit fighter jets, which Mr. Milei described as guardian angels. Despite the ban imposed by Britain more than 40 years ago, it is now understood that the U.S. forced the UK to allow the sale. It is a humiliation ritual. How did you get forced to sell jets? Military equipment.
Now, let's be fair. They were already
Bullied.
selling to them via go-betweens.
Sure.
Much reason why like Kuwait in like the 70s had a bunch of Cobra helicopters they shouldn't have had. That's personal family arms dealing on my part.
That's true, Bill.
There are go-betweens, but like if there's an embargo, there are 2 to 3 motherfuckers as go-betweens to make sure that it's completely pointless.
Well, Gurns
And they are
historically
not
were pirates,
paid well enough.
right?
And smugglers.
And
But the point
smugglers.
is, like, the people who are like these little go-betweens, these organisers, the fixers really make the money, and generally speaking, these little go-betweens don't make a great deal. So it's not like some big like a markup. These embargoes mean fucking nothing.
No.
If you want a great example of this, look at why Japan has special military vehicles, which are very blatantly just tanks, but Japan's not allowed to have tanks, so they only have special military vehicles.
Right. Yes, all the kind of nonsense about that. It's
It's not tequila, it's mezcal.
right. Well, there is.
It doesn't matter. It's like petrol.
There is a difference between tequila and mezcal. You can certainly taste the difference. We need to go back up to that Mexican restaurant that's got the mezcal.
No.
Yeah, we do. some point.
I've
For my birthday,
had more than my fill of fucking Mexican food.
I do cook like an enormous amount of Mexican food. I think as I showed you guys last week, and I just now finished it today. Like just part of it, like the part that I wanted to eat, I finished today.
Oh, what, Bill? Why didn't
Took me
you
a
eat this
whole week.
Mexican food that you told me specifically you didn't like?
No. Well, I was trying to make you find a way to present it to you that you would like. Also, I love Mexican. I'm an Amerimut and I love slop. Okay. I love me slop.
Thank you.
Someone's gonna clip that.
We said way more nefarious stuff. I'll wait until we get into the Rumble section, and I'll start to really take the fucking weighted clothing off.
Indeed. I just don't understand how the UK could have even been pressured into doing this. But I mean, like, there's no indication of it. Like, what actually
having an
happened.
incredibly weak prime minister and
Starmer, yeah,
and people who allies, quote unquote allies, who are on a fucking narcissistic rampage throughout the entirety of the world.
Yeah. So I mentioned before that 99.8% the last time they were polled, or they took a vote on this, Falkland Islanders do not want to leave don't want to stop being a British overseas territory, which is why when you see like these people who are, again, like I said, the MAGA idiot class,
okay, what it
the
boils
MAGA
down to,
cocksucker cabal,
they
right?
want Falklands out of to not be a UK region because the Falklands have oil.
Yes,
and they want to impact the colonial oil interests of their allies who are not buying directly from them, and want to ramp up demand by denying them their own supply. If there's any other colonial settlements that that Western Europe has that have oil supplies, they're about to be shuffled into the hands of their little second and third world toadies of America, so that they can be that oil is going straight to Israel and straight to America.
Scooby-Doo Villain in the chat asks, when will Bill conquer Guernsey and declare himself the Tsar of the Holy Roman Cognate of New Nassau?
It should be noted that Guernsey's never had a Roman settlement here. The only one was in Sark.
I guess not. I guess you
Skip
did.
us over. The Greeks, we had kind of a bad reputation. The island to the Greeks was referred to as the Isle of Saturn or the Isle of Heroes. It's where traditionally Greeks of some renown, they would basically they bury their dead here. So it's kind of seen as bad. I guess it's seen as bad form.
Bad juju, yeah. Huh. So
the Isle of the Dead is the other name for the place. Yes.
Oh, great. Well, it is irradiated, so.
Yeah, they probably knew something. They probably had some means of detecting the rate. Let's just took one look at the water and what it was doing to people.
The ancients knew all kinds of shit through methods.
Yeah, they were on their way to getting germ theory when the Roman Empire, finally gave out.
So it's not because of any kind of nuclear testing or anything. There's radium just because of the rocks. The island is naturally irradiated. So you'll find
black granite is always full of radium.
So you will find, for example, there's a ton of cancer research that's done here. Because so many people,
cancer
yes, because cancer,
which
we're
is
all
why
getting cancer.
The vaccines fuck this place up so badly because it has a tendency to reactivate.
I actually got a thing on that, I think, tonight. Something about COVID. So Email Chong says something retarded here. Falklands belong to Argentina. The British have zero right to moan about how the people living there have any right to self-determination when Britain itself has never respected the rights of anybody else. Just ask the Palestinians. Oh, fuck you, Ian Mostrong. I'm sure you said. How does the goal for him to say this shit when you know that he fucking supports Israel?
What do you expect?
You know he's an Israel cocksucker. So what are you? What? Miss me,
Ian.
Miss
Brown,
me with that.
Don't care. Shut the fuck up. Go back to your little hut in the middle of nowhere.
Miss me with this. Oh, the Palestinians. Don't you support the great nation of Israel, our greatest and onlyest ally as the United States, even though you live in Malaysia or whatever?
The only thing I want to see Ian Miles Chong support is a tall rope hanging from a tree. Until then, I don't give a shit.
Damn, I don't care either. Fuck you. So yeah, why would the U.S. want to give the Falkland Islands to Argentina? I wonder why. I wonder why they might want to do that.
We're about to get shit canned over the music.
You're right. Sings and lights torch for Israeli National Day. There's Bibi himself clapping along like a robot as Milei just goes ham. God.
It really is like if Go Nagai drew Jair Bolsonaro.
It is. So I wonder why do you think it is that Trump might want Javier Milei to have control of the Falkland Islands.
Well, I think I kind of
Because
spoiled
they
it.
shared donors.
Could it
Falkland
be?
Islands have oil. Get the oil out of the hands of the British into the hands of the Argentinians, who just siphon it back to Israel and the US.
Argentina's libertarian realignment strengthens Israel and counters Iran in Latin America. A country stands as an unapologetic and reliable ally of the Jewish state on both moral and strategic grounds. In an era of moral equivocation and rising threats, Argentinian President Javier Milei stands as a bold defender of the state of Israel, the United States,
And we can leave it there.
Western civilization. No, just get rid of that. Like these three things at this point, not compatible. This one is not compatible with this one. And this one always sides with this one, making these fundamentally incompatible with this. Milei is I'll just go through some of the other stuff, because, yeah, I can't figure out why would Trump back Milei in this? Could it have something to do with this? I don't know.
Which is why he was relatively close to preparing for what will be, in an hour,
He
Eunice's
cries.
first meeting with Prime Minister
He kissed the wall, and he cried, and he hugged his Rebbe.
Benjamin Netanyahu, in which it is understood that certain agreements related to what were called the Isaac Accords will be signed, something similar to what the Abraham Accords were at the time.
Damn.
Good rule of thumb: if it's something to do with
But with the
Israel and it's got,
intention-
and there are, like, names of a biblical nature involved, it's time to clench. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
gonna
like
be rough.
Samson option, for example. You know what I think about Javier Milei at this point? Afuera! Fuck off, dude. Completely, totally, and utterly occupied. Thank you. So, it was like, what is about this reversal of the England narrative?
But
What are they
as
supposed to-
ABC, ABCR,
Yeah. Oh, I read this
BC,
actually
it
earlier.
was Falklands is older than Argentina
Yeah.
as a region.
I do think a lot of maybe it was red meat, and I think that's probably the predominant thing, red meat for the plebs. But this was interesting as part of Charles' speech, is that he says that the U.S. has to be ready to join, and this seems like it was prompted by the things that Trump said earlier, in which case I don't even know if this is Charles' actual opinion, or if this is, they had to have spoken beforehand about this Russia thing. So it seems that the idea of war with Russia is back on the table, boys. I don't know. I think it's a weird timing to be talking about this, but I don't know why. There must be some reason for the increase in talks about war with Russia while we're in the middle of a war with Iran. I don't know what's going on, but this was curious to me.
Aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people.
By the way, let us not forget.
Big Charles, may I just remind you, a couple of generations ago, one of your ancestors was actually the cousin of King Nicholas II of the
Indeed.
Tsar of Russia.
Indeed.
Just keep that in mind, by the way. King
Indeed.
George V
Well,
was actually
Tsar Nicholas II. Put
yes,
some respect on
yes.
the name.
Yeah, put some respect on his name.
The man with very, very obvious brain damage. God rest him.
Well, he was without oxygen for a few minutes when he was born.
Yes, that's what I
So he
mean.
was very nearly stillborn. So he had brain damage, like quite literally. Zarnicki too was quite literally a bit retarded, and that was a thing that the Bolsheviks took very much advantage of. Was that he was a well-meaning retard, from my understanding of Nikki too. That being said, it's interesting that there's also, again, this reversal talking about Russia and talking about Ukraine. And I would point out, as I have before, is that Ukraine is also supposed to be, first of all, Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, is Jewish. And there are plans that are out there, much like the Greater Israel Project, that include Ukraine as new Khazaria. Okay? So just because it's like, maybe we'll go to war with Iran with you, it doesn't mean that they're also captured. Seems that Charlie, at least, is still advocating for this, pro-Ukraine stuff, or at least pro-Volodymyr Zelensky. I am pro-Ukrainian, absolutely. The Ukrainian people are in a terrible position, and have been for 3 or 4 fucking years now, however long it's been, because of their insane government, and their insane government that is controlled by a Zionist. Let's just be honest. Volodymyr Zelensky is a Zionist, and he has the same goals as any other Zionist. It is Israel first, and that's
the moment
his
that
perspective on it.
Like metrosexual ex-actor gets into power, or an actor has any position of anything within anywhere, you should just immediately turn to the rope.
An actor who literally played an everyman who was elected to be the president of Ukraine in a TV show. How strange. That shit is so fucking weird. Man of the People is what the TV show he was in was called, where he was just a random guy who became president of Ukraine. Or Servant of the People, something like that, I think. Rep Bartholomew Cheesington for 2 says, what about your people, you old insert any insult? Yeah, I know, right? Indeed, Charlie. Indeed.
Yeah. Spoon's Law.
What? Yes, talking about other people. What about your people? However, I'm not exactly sure if that's what it was about, was to drag the UK into war with Iran. Again, Charles' messaging was about Russia, and so was Trump's. So I don't know what's going on there exactly with that. Curious to see where it's going. But it does seem that there was some pressure, at least, to try and get Charles on board with war in Iran, and it doesn't appear to have worked, at least from the reporting. This kind of stuff is, you're trying to see through all the layers of bullshit and through the layers of narrative. And I don't always know what the truth is on these things. So, for example, with the Trump assassination attempt that we'll get to, I didn't know how to call that at first. But then I listened to AA for a little bit, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I think it at least makes a little bit more sense. What did you think about AA's takes on the shooting Spoon, by the way?
He said he didn't watch anything.
Yeah. He intentionally didn't.
Yeah, neither did I.
So you could get a pure, like, raw reaction to it, which is, because again, once you start listening to narratives, then your mind can be infected by them. And so it's better to kind of just...
When we were on... Remember our group on Discord? Where I said, or I think Lamented said something, and I just went, no, actually, I take it back. This is going to be to justify the ballroom. And then I looked on X, and then a whole bunch of the usual suspects all said that. I went like, oh, fuck.
I think it's too...
I kind of wish I wasn't right about it.
I think it's twofold in that. Number one, it's to justify Trump's vanity project in the ballroom. It's our next topic, so I'm starting to lead into it. It's to justify Trump's vanity project in the ballroom, and 2, it was an attempt to bolster Trump's sympathy among the people. I don't think it worked. I don't think people even took this seriously, because it just wasn't a serious threat. And how it even happened in the first place is curious. Very bizarre. Manny 2side for 5 says, I'm finding it hard to envision what it means to be a heritage American post-liberalism and empire. Maybe it's where I live, but the future looks bleak. Some of the things, again, that Trump said were very positive, but I don't think he believed any of them. What we need to be positive about is not what politicians and NGOs and these major groups of people say or do, because they're all fucking fake and gay. What was happening very recently, up until this cringe and gay shit involving Iran and, oh, Europeans, come help. Wait, go get your own oil. Wait, no, you have to help us. Wait, you're our vassals. Really, actually, we hate you. We despise you. All that stuff. Up until that point, for the last 15 or so years, there has been this growing, I would say, transatlantic European consciousness that has been fomenting, of people realizing that that Americans in particular do come from somewhere. Europeans as well come from the lands that they are living in, and that is important. It is important to your soul, your spirit as a people, to live on the land of your ancestors. And that your genetic lineage matters in terms of who you are as a person. And that was growing and growing for years, and I think it's unstoppable. I think the Faustian spirit is unstoppable, even by a bunch of slop accounts on Twitter, no matter how hard they try and post and say, actually, Europe is your enemy. I don't think it works. Maybe with some fucking retards, but not with anyone with an IQ above room temperature, I don't think. And if you're dumb enough to fall for that, how mixed are you? I don't know. Sorry, that's fucked. But anyway, true. What's going on with you? Or are you, like, what happened there that you can't figure that out? Sorry.
At day's end, you have to lead by example, folks.
Yep.
You have to try and retrench and remind yourself of what it means to be your general nationality.
Yes.
Depending upon your
nationality and your ethnicity. They both are important.
Your identity should not be assailable by outside forces such as governmental bodies. You need to retrench yourself. You need to get squared away. You need to know who you are.
I disagree. Civil
I'm sorry, it can't be administered to you. It cannot be handed down to you. It can't be squared around you by a political force. It needs to be from you.
Yeah. Civilitatis says there's no such thing as a genetic soul. I disagree, and the reason why I disagree is because you have things like haplogroups where you can
definitely an essence to each individual.
Yes.
People.
That you can. That is absolutely related to your parents. In fact, like that is scientifically inaccurate in that children share an enormous amount of overlap in their traits with their parents. This is not speculative. It's not like a truism.
There's literally a moment at conception where there is a flash of light caused by a zinc reaction. Like, what the fuck more do you want?
Well, I mean, genetic soul, if you're talking about traits, personality traits, not just physical ones, personality traits, they're highly heritable. So who you are as a person is incredibly strongly heritable from who your parents are. And that, all of their personality traits are, on some level, now some of it is nature as well, and things that they encountered over their lives, but it's also heavily dependent on their genetics. So the idea of a genetic soul, of your personality and who you are as a person, is very much tied to your DNA. You are... Haplogroups are non-specific or uniform. No, I'm talking about Y haplogroups specifically. I'm talking specifically about Y haplogroups in that you can trace the Y haplogroup. Your father,
we are so close to getting this turning into a parasite. We're too close to this becoming a Parasite Eve argument. I'm nipping this in the bud before someone.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit cringe. However, like.
And certainly I'm stomping on this thing's throat before you start talking fucking theology again.
I'm not doing that. All right. Okay. Anyway, so this was about getting into Iran for the UK.
This was a reign-defining speech for King Charles. If you read between the lines of the niceties and warm words in the monarch's historic address to US Congress, you'll find thinly veiled criticisms of President Trump and his administration throughout.
As my Prime Minister said,
let's face it, which side do you want to be on? The side that was bewilderingly pally with Epstein, or the side that was bewilderingly pally with Jimmy Savile?
At least they've arrested some people in the UK over their connections to the Epstein stuff. The US hasn't arrested anyone. I don't think it's...
It doesn't matter, because even if it was the case, people knew beforehand, they sat on their fucking hands until they were forced. It doesn't fucking matter.
And they sat on their hands about the Jimmy Savile stuff for decades. Yes.
The whole
they're all pedophile defenders.
Operative idea of the Sword Fund is putting steel in hand.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Neither have handled that well, because they have involvement with this shit, I believe. Either directly or indirectly. Also, Charles's fingers are still clubbed as fuck. Holy shit.
He's got edema.
I know he does.
Like a myriad of fucking heart defects from his inbred fucking Windsorian bloodline.
Yeah. Looking real bad there, though.
Part German, part Greek. It's lucky he doesn't have hooves.
Ours is an indispensable partnership.
Of the president's overreach of power and return to isolationism, the king remarked,
"Executive power is subject to checks and balances,"
and urged the American people to ignore calls to become...
The statistic of heritability applies within groups, not between groups. That's factually incorrect. That is completely factually incorrect. You've read some libtard fucking blog. You've read some libtard fucking shit.
Hey,
heritability is heritability.
We got the first a one guy case where it's arguing matters of genetics.
Is it not a good idea? Not a good idea here, friendo. Not a good idea in this chat.
I am not having party to this. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm.
Respect people's time, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'm gonna reclaim my own time and not respond to the most dumb fucking shit I've ever read.
You're fucking meandering. Shut up.
It was a masterclass in soft diplomacy, with which the king may have just single-handedly restabilized
this
our
bitch looks like AI.
relationship.
What the hell? Shut up, you blonde bitch. There's no way in hell the king did any fucking of that. That's
I don't
just
think so.
horseshit.
I don't think so. But this is the claim from the Telegraph, right?
Trump told the Telegraph that he may pull his troops out of NATO. The king affirmed that the Atlantic alliance was
Is this
more
bitch AI?
important than ever.
I mean,
Or just fucking weird looking?
they
And
probably
she
like.
just says Giga Chandra online.
She does. I don't know.
He also described how we have stood shoulder to shoulder with America through 2 world wars, the Cold War and Afghanistan. Amid Trump's mockery of the size
Yeah,
and power of our
and
Royal
how
Navy, the king
how's that worked out for the United Kingdom?
Not well. America does not
Yeah.
demands allies, demands allies all the time. Requests that loyalty be paid in
A
blood.
right-wing Europe is anti-American.
It is, and I hate to say
America
this.
is not an ally.
I hate to
It
say
is
this.
an enemy.
I hate to say this because I'm an American. Obviously, I love America. I don't hate America in any way. And there was
But you hate the government.
there was a belief, and I think it can still happen, that that European peoples on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean can have commonalities between each other, but America as a state,
They breathe.
America as a state, however, is essentially antithetical to Europe at this point. The
Yes, because
hatred
Europe is
seems
Edom,
palpable.
and the Jews want to kill Edom.
Yes. If you want
They have to bring out the end times. Isn't it fantastic? You know, if I wanted to, follow in the footsteps of a fucking psychotic death cult, I'd just take up, like bodybuilding, like lifting, as opposed to powerlifting.
King spoke with immense pride about his time in the senior service, recounting that his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all did the same. He also reminded the president
Oh, look.
of its historic
King
relevance
George.
in the world
Yeah.
wars.
Let me just say something. I'm sorry. Heritability within groups. Why haplogroup? It doesn't matter. If your great
If you keep on, I will leave
has
this
a
podcast
Y
right now.
has a European white haplo. Let me just say this: has a European
No.
haplogroup. It doesn't matter if your skin is darker than soot.
You were specifically told not to that
still
guy, some
have
retard in
the
the chat.
European Y haplogroup.
I will fucking pull the cord on you.
Okay, just stop being
Try me,
retarded.
bitch.
Again, don't be retarded in my
Shut
chat.
up.
Okay.
Just
By
get on
giving
your fucking
him
job for
the
a change.
parting gift of a bell from Royal Navy ship HMS Trump, a boat which fought in the Battle of the Pacific.
And they
Amid
brought in this
tensions
bell,
around
yeah.
Trump's Iran war and our Prime Minister's reluctance to involve us in it, the King remarked that his mother was deployed on a similar charm offensive to the US in 1957, after the Suez Canal crisis had temporarily destabilized the special relationship.
When my mother visited in 1957, not the least of her tasks was to help put the special back into our relationship after a crisis in the Middle East.
While some of the nuance might have been lost on the American lawmakers and audience, there is no doubt that while repairing our special relationship, the King landed a few marks of his own.
Yeah, nothing will improve matters quite like trotting out this retard to act like a tittering courtier about laughing about all the inside jokes at the Americans' expense.
Yeah.
That definitely will incense the rampaging, narcissistic retard that is Trump.
Yeah, you're right. There's no European haplogroup. There's multiple. But there's specifically European haplogroups.
If you
which
keep
is why I
on
said
about fucking
a
haplogroups that I
European
specifically
haplogroup.
told you to shut the fuck up about. Stop that guying people in the fucking chat
Oh,
like a retard.
This was in the wrong place, but yeah, Milei, I mentioned this earlier. He's been involved in like crypto scams,
help, Hannah Claire.
specifically
I need your input.
specifically with his sister, who is like a horoscope reading witch or something, and so she wanted to sell this Libra coin, right? And it was a complete and utter rug pull. Price soared right out of the gates, eventually surpassing $5 US per token. The value would eventually crater to virtually nothing over the next few hours as its developers withdrew between $80 million and $100 million. Specialists call this a rug pull. You have to be a specialist. Kind of scam based on convincing unsuspecting investors to back a cryptocurrency and then quickly withdrawing the funds. Around 84% of the coins were in the hands of 3 users who were in the development team. And this Javier Milei and his sister promoted this Libra coin scam. So I should have mentioned this back in the Argentina stuff, but I accidentally put it here. This is the guy that we should give the Falkland Islands over to. A fucking rug puller. Crypto fucking rug puller. Who kisses the wall. And that's because, of course, Trump and Milei get on. Not only because of their shared love of that little country in the Middle East, but because both of them have essentially accusations of insider trading. So insider trading suspicions loom over Trump's presidency, says the BBC. I think we covered this before, but we did cover this before. So I just want to reiterate it here, which is that Trump makes a statement about the Iran war being over. All of a sudden, you know, people start buying, the price of oil drops, or and then the war comes back on, and they trade off of that so that they end up making millions and millions and potentially billions of dollars. Trump and his friends have enriched themselves off of the deaths of innocent Iranians, the deaths of innocent Syrians, and Lebanese people, all in while Israel is engaging in this war of conquest for the Greater Israel Project, and pretending like this has anything to do with or in any way benefits the American people. They are lining their pockets, just as Javier Milei did with his pump and dump scam. And no wonder that Milei and Trump are friends. I know that when I say shit like this, I sound like a fucking leftist, but I'm just talking about the truth. I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm not happy about this at all. I liked Milei when I first saw him, and he was like, oh, he's a libertarian. Like, well, me too. So this is what Trump had to say.
Let's face it, Milei was just Trudeau for libertarians.
Essentially. Let's do this. We're coming up on 11 o'clock. Shall we move over to Rumble and Kick for the last hour? And we'll do that just... It's our first time trying to do this multi-streaming stuff. I wanted to do a good... And we had 1 hour less tonight than usual because we started late. But we got it figured out, I think. So in the future, it shouldn't...
Yes, I had to teach you.
I had to draw a diagram for you so you could understand what I was saying.
Ladies, please, you're both just terrible.
Ladies, you're both retarded.
Thanks for that, Bill.
No, don't worry. Anyway, so this is Trump responding to a lot of the stuff about, like, specifically the insider trading claims. What does Trump have to say about the claims that he and his family and his friends are obviously enriching themselves by playing the markets in terms of when they invest and oil futures? Here's what he had to say about it. This will really assuage any fears you could possibly have.
Well, on the Iran conflict too, and there have been some trackings where people suspect that there's insider trading happening on these prediction markets around the war. Are you concerned?
Well, you know, the whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino. And you look at what's going on all over the world, in Europe and every place they're doing these betting.
Real quick, Nix says, last spam at you guys. This is, last spam at you guys about this. Trump is not America. You're nuking your audience for little to no reason. I have never claimed that Trump is America. In fact, I very much specified here that the people who are sucking Trump off on all of this stuff are part of a grifter class. They are not MAGA. They are part of this MAGA slop influencer class. And they are set against by people who are legitimate and serious. People like Tucker Carlson, who is deep state royalty, essentially. But also people who are not deep state royalty. People like Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens. People like Alex Jones. Trump abandoned Alex Jones over this. I've been watching Alex Jones since I was like 15 years old. I'm sticking with Alex on it. Sorry. I mean, it has nothing to do with average American people when I criticize Trump. And when I criticize Trump's actions, it has everything to do with Trump's actions. If I'm chasing people away, it's only because you've got cognitive dissonance. And that is not in a disparaging sense.
Never apologize to the audience. You berate them and explain why they're cringing gay, and if they don't like it, tell them to fuck off.
If you're having a problem with it, it's because you're experiencing psychic pain. And I understand it is painful.
That's the point.
And to psychoanalyze the audience is not going to improve their
I've written an article about it. You can read it on my Substack. But I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking Donald Trump.
Things I was never much in favor of it.
I'm attacking everyone like I usually do.
But it is what it is. No, I think that I'm not happy with any of that stuff. But
if you missed it, though, he called it a casino. He said that, you're concerned about insider trading on these prediction markets in Iran war. The world is a casino. It is what it is. You are running out of it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. That's not a good statement. The world is a casino. It's your personal casino, apparently. I do have some good news, though, that's kind of unrelated. And this is a good segue because we're going to talk about the shooting. We'll do that when we move over to Rumble and Kick, because that stuff got flash taken off of YouTube the other day, so that'll be perfect timing, I think. So, breaking. Former senior advisor to Anthony Fauci has been indicted in his role in the COVID-19 cover-up. I think we can say this stuff on YouTube now. Let's see.
Facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID.
You don't
Rich
say.
Edson on this story. Intriguing, Rich. What you find out there in Washington?
Yeah, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morans, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morans, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021.
I never even heard about this at the time.
Claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails.
No, but.
Or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morans used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morans wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Just gave him some
that
wine,
suggested he
bro.
could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that back coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So, who wants to put the odds on Fauci actually seeing any kind of retribution for what he did?
No way in hell.
No way in hell.
There's a better chance I'm pissing platinum.
I don't think that's going to happen. I was trying to have some positive,
platinum? Yeah,
positive,
no shit.
positive potential news. Like, well, maybe, very unlikely, I'd say, but positive potentially. Here's another positive news story, so we're not all doom and gloom all the time.
I am. Fuck you.
Which is that the Supreme Court has ruled that race-based congressional districts are unconstitutional, and this is what that we'll see how it plays out. But the SCOTUS has ruled that this race-based districting is unconstitutional because, of course, it is.
They think 19 seats could be at risk all throughout the South. The question will be the timing. Is this a 2028 play? Is this a 2026 play? There are some primaries here coming up, not until later in the cycle, August 6th. There's one in Tennessee. That's Steve Cohen's.
Oh, did my browser just crash? It did. Wait,
I'm sorry, Rose. You got to sit at the back of the filibuster.
I got it. Yeah, it just kind of froze for a second.
In the cycle, August 6th, there's one in Tennessee. That's Steve Cohen's seat. That's a majority minority district. That's in August.
Look at what it would look like. Look at what the South would look like. Now, I got many criticisms of the Republicans, obviously, and of the GOP. Very specifically.
Yes, like their inability to actually fucking wield power.
Yes, their inability to do anything, and their deep relationship with AIPAC. I have issues with both of those.
I was watching a clip of John Doyle a while ago, and he said, but winning is actually very difficult. He said winning is very difficult, and I'm looking at the House, the Senate, and the executive. Like, you have all
everything.
three fucking branches.
And can't do shit, apparently. Every time a Republican's in power, it has... Every time, both sides, by the way, do this to a certain extent, but Democrats do it far less than Republicans do, which is they will have everything they could possibly need and will still sit on their hands and do nothing.
On the opposite side, yeah.
Yes. Conserve nothing. Do nothing. Oh, it's so frustrating.
The one Democratic seat there, the Jim Clyburn seat.
I mean, look at what that map would look like.
That is the Democratic seat in South Carolina. That's a June 9th primary. Jamie, this shows you the ramifications long term.
It also explains, though, again, if those who are not aware of how much Democrats, the Democratic Party, is a race-based party, particularly in places like the South, which does have a large African-American population, and they vote overwhelmingly 95% plus for the Democrats in those areas. And what do they
We just
vote for?
point out that's all politics.
It is all politics. All politics is identity politics,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah.
It always comes in terms of democracy. Democracy always ends up boiling down to identity politics of my group versus your group. Read my new Substack article. I'll have my videos getting there. I'm working on it. It just takes a while to edit. But that will explain why it is that democracy itself creates polarization and partisanship and therefore division along all kinds of lines. It can be group, it can be class, it can be race, it can be region. It just creates division.
And if you do your politics correctly, they won't be able to identify it by anything other than dental records most of the time. But, you know, needs must.
We got a couple more minutes before I'm going to switch over and we'll do the shooting stuff over on Rumble and Kick. So this is related to it.
She's just trying to limit my time on the microphone without a limitation on me.
No, I wanted to get people over to the new platform. So Ashley St. Clair, who I think is kind of a lunatic, but she's Elon Musk's baby daddy. Wait, baby mama. Fuck, I said that wrong. Other way around. I think she's a crazy woman, but she also does have connections with a lot of people. So it's interesting to see what she says and a little bit about this.
And so does Shadman. Doesn't mean that we laud them.
No. About the MAGA people I was talking about. Not you and me. Not people who voted for Trump. Not people who are genuine Americans who actually care about this shit. But the MAGA influencer class. And
I will admit, I will put up with being called a lot of things, but American is not one of them.
I said I was referring to myself. Not to either one of you, my Gurn and South African friends.
That all of MAGA is paid and they coordinate their messaging in lockstep via group chats. And what do you know? All of these people came to the conclusion.
Well, I'll show this just because it's kind of hard to see on her shitty TikTok video. This is what she's referring to.
I find this video very disturbing, by the way.
For what reason?
Because a Jew might say something that's correct.
Yeah. So this is what she's... Open image and new tab, right? Yeah. Okay. This is regarding the ballroom stuff that we'll get into. All of a sudden, this is after the shooting, after the shooting attempt or whatever that happened at the not press conference, but it's called the what was that? The Correspondence Dinner. The Correspondence Dinner. Libs at Tech Talk. This is why we need a ballroom. Jack Posobiec. Thank God President Trump is building a ballroom. End wokeness. This is, privately funded ballroom. Wall Street Mav. This is why we need a White House ballroom. Meghan McCain, of course. Trump's new ballroom at the White House. Tara Bull. Now you know they don't want Trump to build a ballroom. Dustin Grage. I don't know who that one is, to be fair. Cernovich says Democrats judges stop blah 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 ballroom. Tom Fitton. Grieger Capital. Buzz Patterson. Sean Farash. Nick Adams, Randy Fine, Brylan Hollyhand, the weirdo they rolled out to replace Charlie Kirk.
Cast member like it's the fucking Magic Short Bus.
All of them have the same opinion on this stuff, which is after the attempted shooting.
Their social media is probably managed by the same person.
Yes, so that is just to be clear. That is what Elon Musk's baby mom is talking about here.
That after they saw what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, their first thought was all independently.
Yeah.
Trump needs his ballroom.
Very common.
The statistical likelihood of this happening in a vacuum, if we are to
let's not go there. But it is unlikely.
It's always a rough time to get some home truths from someone who was dumb enough to let Elon slip in there.
Yeah, I just don't want to hear this woman use the word statistical probabilities.
She's got a very lumpy face.
However, she's full of Botox. However,
Plastic,
she probably is correct in that the statistical probability that all of these big people would have the exact same take at the exact same time, just hours before Trump himself would announce it, very strange.
I will say this from a purely just from the point of view of an outsider. I do find it odd that the White House does not have essentially a room to receive major guests.
What they do, but when they have big events, what they've done for years and years. Now, first of all, I will say this before we head over, but the White House, the president has been holding the Correspondence Dinner at that hotel for 50 years. when they have events at the White House,
It
they
does
put out
still
a
seem
big
odd.
they put out a big tent in the lawn is what they typically do. But yeah, this is very strange, and it all makes it seem like that's why this happened, or at least how it's being used, depending on your perspective.
Stipulate that these people are not coordinated. The statistical likelihood of this happening, that they all came to the same conclusion, not probable, okay? I think it's also important to note that one of the main group chats...
It's always a great
in
song.
which
You can
they
hear a
pulled-
child crying in the background of a scene.
That's probably Elon's baby. This is why it's interesting from her, because she's in these group chats, right? So she's actually insider on this stuff, and then she just goes and fucking posts shit on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever.
I love operational security, don't you?
It's great, isn't it? And then she's just like, I'm in this group chat, and they're all coordinating here. So that's why this is interesting.
Coordinate this messaging. It is literally called fight, fight, fight after the attempt on Trump's life in Butler. Okay, and this has the official Trump war room, members of the administration.
She's in this
Your
group chat.
lips are very distracting because it's clearly plugged.
But she's in this group chat, so it clearly exists.
Including James Blair and all your favorite MAGA influencers. And I would log on and show you more of these messages, but I can't log on to Twitter because they're suing me for $75,000.
Okay, whatever.
I wonder why.
She's a crazy person. So, this is my last thing before we'll move over here, which this was called, this is New MAGA. Welcome to New MAGA. Old MAGA was America First, essentially. That's what it meant.
By the way, the one on the
Make
left
America
there
great
is
again.
very much a
Oh, what do you think? What? Oh, are you telling me he's part of a certain tribe? I could never have guessed.
Yes.
Anywho.
The one on the right, not so much.
No.
I don't know.
The one in the middle is just
The one in the middle is just an Anglo. The worst example of the Anglo, by the way.
potential to introduce you as a Republican, but here we are. Why do you feel so strongly about this, that you have renounced your democratic faith and gone to the other side?
Well, the polls show that the vast majority of Democrats of every age oppose Israel. They have elected a congresswoman.
That's why you've become a Republican, have you? Therefore, one must, as a sort of transitive property, make the connection that being a Republican at this point is to be pro-Israel.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm going to switch domestic party affiliation because of a foreign government.
Yep.
Like, what
From
the
New
fuck?
Jersey, who is virulently anti-Israel. They
What was
may
the
be
whole-
nominating.
Yeah.
Can we just
Dershowitz,
stop
isn't it?
this bullshit?
Yes. By the
Yeah,
way, this is Dershowitz.
the-
Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, by the way.
The idea that Democrats don't support Israel is fucking laughable.
Of course they do. It's just that their loud young base does not. But they're
You
completely
say
contained.
uniparty this, uniparty that. We know what uniparty means. It's not uniparty.
Yes. Yes. The young base is allowed to kind of, do what they always do and performatively revolt. But they're completely and utterly contained. The Hassan Piker side of things that goes, ooh, Israel, ooh, I don't like you, and I'm very pro-Palestine, and from the river to the sea. Those people, they're contained as fuck. They're contained as fuck. Like, that is not a serious movement of people. They've always been a joke. Yes, they cause a bunch of destruction. They blow shit up every summer. They tear things down. But they're a joke.
All through state backing.
Yes, through state backing. Yes, they're allowed to do all this. They're promoted to do it. They're paid to do it in many cases.
NGOs, whatever the hell
Yes.
else. Yeah.
And they are a controlled op. Not just controlled opposition, but they're also a controlled people entirely. They're not real in that sense.
A Senate candidate from Michigan who campaigns with a neo-Nazi who basically is a Hitler supporter.
Oh, who is that? Let me know his name.
And as you say, even Rahm Emanuel has now said that the Democrats should stop and the United States government should reorganize its relationship with Israel and treat it like any other ally. And
Oh, we do not treat Israel like any other ally. I wish we treated Israel like any other ally, but we
They'll
don't.
be dead by now.
We don't. We should treat Israel like any other ally.
You treat Israel like a spoiled child.
Yes.
Child.
Yep.
And in light of what's going on university campuses, the uptick of anti-Semitism around the world, I just can't be associated with a political party that has become part of the anti-Israel, anti-Jewish trend around the world and in the United States. So although I support many of the Democratic domestic policies, I will vote and work hard to make sure that...
He can't even really say that with his full chest, can he?
Well, to be fair, if he tries, he might die of a stroke.
Yeah, he can't even say what he's like, I will...
Try it out.
I'll try. Ooh.
The Republicans maintain control over the House, the Senate, and the presidency to avoid the United States from moving the way many European countries have moved, away from Israel, away from support for Western values, and in support for radical left-wing values. Look,
yeah, what does Western values mean? Like I said before, we have to try to parse what that actually means.
It's not a real thing.
No.
Used to be.
Used to be, maybe.
If I could have registered as a
It might be
Republican
yet
with a
again.
little asterisk saying I'm basically a foreign policy Republican, I'm still a domestic Democrat, I would do that, but that...
You hear that? I'm a foreign policy Republican, a domestic Democrat. So all of the shit he's still going to support domestically, he's a... It means that the Republican
Jeffrey
Party...
Epstein's lawyer. He
Yes.
should not be supporting anything
Why
but
is
a
anyone even talking to
tombstone.
him? Why is anyone even talking to him? But this guy, yes, who was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer,
Blur it under one.
is saying that, it betrays the broader meaning, which is that what does it
Put me
mean
on
to be...
Rumble alone so I can fucking say my mind.
Let's do
already.
it. Yeah, we'll go here in a second. What does it mean to be a Republican in 2026? It means Israel first. That's what it means. And Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, is here saying it pretty much directly. He's going to continue to support all of the DEI nonsense, all of the mass migration, all of that kind of stuff. He supports that. But he is a Republican in terms of his foreign policies, because being a Republican means to be Israel first. That's what it means currently. And so, GOP delenda est. I've heard enough of this Hebrew nonsense. Shall we switch over to Rumble and Kick?
Yeah.
Let me post the links for you guys again. I do have them over here. Thank you guys so much for all of your support on the show thus far. We'll go for another hour or thereabouts. Where are my links at? There we go. Okay. I've got them in the description, and I've got the Rumble link there, but let me also give you the Kick link if you want to follow us over to where you can hear Bill say spicy words. And we're going to talk about the assassination attempt. I'm not saying that because I don't think it's real. I'm saying that because Trump was in no danger.
It's fake and gay.
Trump was in absolutely no danger. So, we'll see you over on alternative platforms. We're going to be doing this probably more. We'll actually probably start making it so there's less and less on YouTube, because I do not want to be hit by this bullshit again. It was extremely stressful and frustrating and gay. Anywho, we'll see you over in Rumble and Kick. Cheers, and bye-bye. And we are off on YouTube.